It's the Orioles on Masson in the middle of a summer afternoon. The Red Sox and the Orioles are going to wrap up this three-game set. They have split the first two, so the Orioles with a chance to take this series from Boston. Big crowd will be on hand here trying to keep cool on a mid-90s degree game. Hi, everybody. I'm Gary Thorpe. For the Orioles, the last time that they had two series wins in a season against Boston was 1991. They've already won a series here in Baltimore earlier. If they can do it again, well, it will be today. A W will give them that second series win here at home. For the Orioles yesterday, it was Jeremy Guthrie. An outstanding performance that the Orioles desperately needed. His manager talked about it after the game.
The seventh inning was the most impressive inning pitched, especially where they were in the order, and pretty solid. Well, they were in the bottom of the order, but it was a very impressive outing, one that he deserved to have.
Did they ever? Only the third time in 32 days the Orioles had somebody go through the seventh inning as they started, Jim, and he was on last night.
You know, we always talk about does good pitching stop good hitting. The Red Sox #1 in baseball in runs scored. They had gotten 15 runs and 16 hits. Guthrie pitched about as well as he's pitched all year long, only his fourth win. So maybe the record really doesn't tell you the whole story about his ability. But to me, the key to the game was seventh inning. SCUTARO on first. ELLSBURY, who's got 11 home runs, hitting about .350 against right-handed pitching. This is the 110th pitch, the best throwing catcher in the American League. They start SCUTARO. He hardly ever runs. Really, nobody talked about it, but to me, it gets the Orioles off the field. An inning later, they will add 3 more runs, and that 6-2 victory wasn't as easy as it looked.
Really inexplicable. And ELLSBURY, when he was standing at the plate, if you caught him as WIETERS was heading by, ELLSBURY had a look on his face like, what was that?
Well, you know, Buck Showalter talked about it. Nobody asked Terry Francona, and of course he has won a couple of World Series and in his defense, so maybe, you let that go. But Buck Showalter said maybe, and it's probably a possibility, maybe SCUTARO ran on his own, but it was ill-advised, especially Guthrie gets the ball quick. It was a breaking ball, and you saw WIETERS still with that great arm threw him out by a large margin.
That was a big play in the game. So let's take a look at head-to-head so far. These two teams are not going to meet after today until September when they've got a couple of series left to be played. On the year, 7-3, the Red Sox have the advantage with big offensive numbers, including the run spread and the home run differential, and, of course, that ERA. Guthrie helped last night by bringing it down, and the Orioles will have a chance today not only to win the series, they're going to go against the left-hander, Andrew Miller, who has really struggled so far at the Major League level.
Yeah, I mean, this is a kid who was a former #1 draft choice. He's out of the University of North Carolina. He throws really hard, but they've brought the velocity down for him to throw strikes. He struggled in his last start. Ben Zobrist of the Tampa Bay Rays hit a grand slam. But you're going to see a tough lefty. We know the Orioles hardly ever play well against left-handers. But again, I think this is a big game for Jake Arrieta. He's really worked on his control and his wind-up. He's been throwing a bunch of home runs. And the Red Sox knocked him around when he last pitched against them up in Boston a couple of weeks ago. So good chance for some redemption this afternoon.
Interesting that both of these pitchers have struggled with the same problems, and that's one, getting the first strike, and two, not walking people. Both Arrieta and Andrew Miller surrender a lot of walks in ball games, and they both have got to get out of that today.
Well, they do, and that's why they're working on their mechanics. Miller's taking a little bit off. Jake, of course, has about as good a stuff as anybody in the Orioles staff.
All right, we are ready to go. Great to have you with us for this day game from Camden Yards. Yes, the temperature pushing 100 by Friday. We hope it doesn't push that for this afternoon. First pitch coming up. Orioles baseball on Masson is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Southwest Airlines' new Rapid Rewards, unlimited reward seats, and no blackout dates. Yes, it is summer. Take a look at our game time temperature, brought to you by Train. Visit Train.com for an independent Train comfort specialist dealer near you. It's hard to stop a Train. It is 91 degrees. There'll be some haze and high clouds and a little breeze right now that's blowing out towards center with that humidity at 60%. And here's the starting lineup for Terry Francona's first place Red Sox, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. It'll be ELLSBURY, Pedroia, Gonzalez, YOUKILIS, Reddick, and Crawford. SCUTARO, VARITEKC, and Navarro will get the start at third base. Pedroia's up to a career-high 17-game hit streak.
And our scouting report on Jake Arrieta, well, safe at home, much better record. ERA a little bit under 5 runs at home, with 5-2 record, 4-4 on the road. Redemption, the Red Sox did rough him up, 4 1/3 innings, 5 runs, a couple of home runs, and I hope he paid attention. He saw Jeremy Guthrie change speeds, get ahead with his stuff. You saw some, and it's hard to believe, because of the ability to pitch from behind. The Red Sox maybe having a little bit of quizzical looks on their face, which doesn't happen very often. That's how good Guthrie was for the first 7 innings last night.
And for the Orioles, they are back to 500 at home, 25-25 here at Camden Yards. 39 wins, 55 losses on the season, and look to take a series win. And for the Orioles this year, in their series, they have won 10, lost 19, and have tied 2. Oh, we'll see how the heat factors into this one this afternoon. It's not going to be easy out there, especially for the battery, the pitcher catchers in this ball game. It'll be Jacoby Ellsbury leading it off. Ellsbury back in center field after DHing in the first game. Ellsbury has had 4 hits and 8 at bats in this series and continues to do a job on Oriole pitching, hitting .465 this year against Oriole pitching. And that first pitch is in there for a strike. That's what Arrieta hopes we'll be seeing a lot of this afternoon.
Yeah, they're trying to get him with good rhythm. He's changed his windup where he'll come up over his head. He's done that the last couple of starts to try to get more rhythm to get to home plate. You know, he has such a gifted athlete. I guess it is a hot day. It is humid, but this is Baltimore, and there is nobody. I mean, Bergeson is in great shape, but nobody in any better shape than Jake Arrieta. Running stadium, so he's prepared for the heat.
1-1 delivery. That'll be lashed down the line in left field, curving, and that will be a foul ball. Ellsbury will come back.
Nolan Reimo playing left, so he's kind of over in left center, and the ball that's down the line off the bat of a lefty is going to slice away from him. Always wanted my left fielders to play closer to the line, because the ball to their left up the gap's going to usually come back, but the ball down the line just keeps going away from you. So, and we know Ellsbury can run. He leads the American League in steals with 28.
1 ball, 2 strikeout on the .314 average hitter, and the pitch is taken away against the Red Sox in a start on the 7th of July. A loss was taken by Arrieta, 5 runs on 6 hits, 4 of the runs earned. 4th start of the year where he did not go 5 innings. He's coming off a 5-inning performance against the Indians in a no-decision game. So over the last 5 starts, he's picked up a win, 2 losses, and had a no decision. There are the numbers against Boston.
Yeah, I think the one number that jumps out to me is the fact that he gave up 2 home runs in his second game, then went 12 starts in a row without giving up more than 1 home run. And they have hit multiple home runs in the last 2 games. So again, some elbow problem, maybe some discomfort, but it seems like, again, he's been able to extend well enough.
It's the 2-2 ground ball to second base where Andino is playing today, and Ellsbury's retired.
Take a look at our Nissan defense for the Orioles. REIMOLD, Jones, MARKAKIS. That's the outfield. Reynolds, Hardy, Andino. Derek Lee with a big home run last night. Craig Tatum will do the catching, as Matt WIETERS will be the DH. And it is Nissan's bottom line sales event, and we're laying it all on the line. Choose Nissan.com or your local dealer today.
And again, the 2 suspensions finished off today. David Ortiz, the DH for Boston. Kevin Gregg, the closer for the Orioles, serving the 3rd of 3 games. So they'll be available the next time around. Pedroia will foul it away. 17-game hit streak. 2nd time in his career he has reached that mark. He did it in the June into July streak back in 2008. And he's just red hot over this hit streak. He's been pounding the ball, including 6 home runs. Another tough play for Reynolds. Running throw. Nice stretch and got him.
Well, that kept the hitting streak alive last night as he got an infield hit early on. Mark Reynolds couldn't get the ball out of a glove. It was a slider. Today it's a curveball. And there's the chopper. And again, he's streaking down the line. And it's nice to have a big target over there, Derrek Lee. Boy, all arms and legs. Nice play by Mark Reynolds and Derrek Lee to keep that foot on the bag.
And for the first time this season, Adrian Gonzalez is going to be the designated hitter. Gonzalez coming in, having been held to a 1 for 9 so far in this series. The Orioles hope to continue to do that today to the league's leading hitter. And everybody talking about the fact that he's only gone 2 for 26 since the All-Star break, and did his participation in the Home Run Derby result in some problems with his swing. He absolutely himself poo-poos that. Says there's nothing about the Home Run Derby participation. 0-1 delivery, chop foul. And if you look at the records, which have been examined by all kinds of statistical people, it would support the way he feels. For the most part, those who participate in the Home Run Derby do not have a dip either in average or in home runs. Over the time since 2006, the numbers have been run, and in fact the average for those who participate in the Derby goes up, while the home run rate may slightly change. It's probably due to the second half of the season, tougher games, wear and tear, and it doesn't change very much for those who participate. So, but for a select few, if you're in the Derby, the second half of the season is generally about the same as the first half. 1-2 delivery, and that'll be taken inside, and a 2-ball, 2-strike count.
Terry Francona said, well, he's hitting so well at 354 after the break. Now he's down to 337. He said, everybody's going to have a little bit of a slump or an adjustment. He said, I'm just not getting ready to hit. And that's what should get back on his left foot. That's what he talks about.
He did that time. He's got it up the middle.
So he said it's a lack of preparation. He said everybody else could panic, but I'm not going to panic because I know my swing. And again, if you go back to last night's game, and we talked about, and this is what he did in the first inning last night, except that Blake Davis was playing up the middle, and he caught a rocket on one hop and turned it into a double play. So again, I mean, this is a guy they committed 7 years, over $150 million because they know he knows how to hit.
And he gets the first one off Arrieta. Here's Kevin Youkilis. Our Dodge Ram Expo brought to you by Ram Trucks, designed, tested, proven to be the best trucks we've ever built. Ram. And a 1-strike count on Kevin Youkilis. Youkilis has been held to a 2 for 10 in this series. He does have a 300 average on the season against the Orioles. Youkilis will take it. Youkilis 1 for 3 in the times he has faced Jake Arrieta.
Well, he's hitting almost twice as good at home as he is on the road. He's hitting 192 on the road, 383, and we saw it last night. He lined out about as hard as you can hit the ball twice, and all he had was overs.
Breaking ball will miss away. For both starters today, with the heat the way it is, obviously efficiency will play a part in how far they can go in the game.
I've never seen Jake Arrieta perspire.
Well, get ready.
Yep. Well, this could be the day.
You got a shot today.
If it's ever going to happen.
Yep.
Yeah, I was going to one of my keys was going to be Cool Hand Jake instead of Cool Hand Luke, but again, this is where all the hard work of being prepared to pitch on a day or a night like this, because it's going to get to 100 by the weekend. Good slider right there.
Fouls it back. Youkilis making his second start at first base in the ball game today, with Navarro getting the start at third.
Well, the one thing, and Jake usually averages right around 17 pitches per inning, which is where he is now, and then you couple the fact that the best on base percentage in baseball, American League, is the Red Sox, so they make you work. But if you can command your stuff, and that's what pitching's all about. There you go.
Called strike 3. Arrieta gets the K. Youkilis doesn't like it. Mike Winters takes the mask off, and they have a brief chat. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left on. Hardy will be leading it off for the O's. Well, for the Orioles, they hope the offense keeps on rolling as the O's have scored 30 runs in the last 4. That's the highest output in a 4-game span this year. Lineup brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Hardy, Markakis, and Jones. WIETERS, Lee, and Reynolds. REIMOLD, Andino, and Tatum. This month for Adam Jones, over 300. Miller getting ready to go as J.J. Hardy's back in the leadoff spot. And Hardy will take it down low.
And our scouting report, well, under control, 9 walks. So he changed his windup. Used to throw 97, now 90 to 93. Much better in the daytime, where he's 1-0 with a 1.50 ERA. ERA almost 7 runs a game at night. And then he is a tall drink of water because we mentioned #1 draft choice by the Tigers. Comes out of the University of North Carolina. Grew up in Gainesville, Florida. So he certainly should be used to this humidity.
J.J. Hardy working against the left-hander, 2 for 8 in the series against Boston, and Hardy will foul that one away. The Orioles against the left-handers, 10 wins and 18 losses against left-handed starters this year. They have pumped the average up against lefties to 265 as a team. Still, however, that win percentage is the 3rd lowest in the American League against left-handed starters. 1 ball, 2 strike count on Hardy. 2 for 4 off the left-hander Miller. And the breaking ball fouled over the screen.
Yeah, and he just airs it out on a hanging breaking ball. And, you know, I watched the game that he pitched against Tampa. He gave up the grand slam in the 2nd inning. And first 3 guys reached, and then Zobrist had a breaking ball for a home run, and then he was out of the game. Aceves in relief in the 3rd. So other than that, he's pitched pretty well for him. But he's cut down his windup. You can see not a lot of movement. And again, the velocity, even down in Tampa, even though it didn't pitch well, got up. It got to 93, but it's not the 96, 97 when he first came to the big leagues.
Miller, highly touted out of Carolina, where he was a leader on a club that was regularly going to the College World Series. But in the majors, 18 wins, 27 losses, and he's bounced around. Breaking ball, and he got him to go after it. That was a hanger outside of the zone. ELLSBURY with the glasses down has it. Hardy retired.
Let's take a look at our Nissan defense for the Red Sox. Crawford, ELLSBURY, and Reddick. Very, very mobile outfield for the Red Sox. Navarro, SCUTARO, PEDROIA, YOUKILIS, couple of gold glovers over on that right side, and then the captain, Jason VARITEKC, doing the catching.
And that will bring up Nick Markakis. VARITEKC caught that whole game. 16-inning affair on Sunday night. Nick has been held down, a 1 for 8 in the series. And Red Sox pitchers this year have held him down to a 222 batting average.
Now, the one hit he has in this series, just a little kind of lofted a ball over the third baseman's head and the shortstop, and found a safe haven late in the ball game in the 15-10 loss.
The 0 for last night ended his 11-game hit streak. He has not only been hitting, but as we've mentioned, also hitting for extra base hits have picked up for him during the streak.
Well, the Red Sox, they can, you know, again, I mean, this is not Lester, this is not Buchholz. They're on the disabled list. Dice K out with Tommy John surgery, but they're trying to pound him inside. You can see VARITEKC sitting. Well, he'll move away now, but he started on the inside corner. And right here, can you hit 91? And they got in on his fist last night to end that streak.
Left that one out over the plate. Nick would like to have that one back again. He pitched against, as we said, the Orioles in the 5-3 win. When he left the ball game 5-3, it was a 10-4 win back on July 7th. Red Sox had a lot of home runs in that ball game to help the cause. That's right there. And Markakis retired on the strikeout.
Well, YOUKILIS thought the ball was low. It didn't appear to be that way. And this ball, you know, just off the outside corner. And again, you got the home plate umpire, Mike Winters. He has established his strike zone. He's going to be a pitcher's strike zone this afternoon, at least early.
So 2 down, nobody on. And that will bring up Adam Jones. Adam has continued hot. He's got a 5-game hit streak during which he has gone 8 for 20. He's continued it against Boston with a 4 for 9 in the series. And Adam trying to reach that 300 batting average, hitting 288 right now, will take the strike. So both Miller and ARRIETA in their first innings doing something that both have had some problems with, as we talked about, and that's getting that first pitch strike in.
Well, 3, 2, 2, 4, and 5. Those are the starts, and those are the walks. But again, it's a lot better than it used to be. And, you know, his contract that he signed back in December with the Red Sox stipulated he would either start the ball club, had a very, very good spring. They thought about using him out of the bullpen, and then he went down and proved that, and he had one of those opt-outs. So they brought him back. Otherwise, he would have been available for other clubs. Another good fastball.
That was framed by VARITEC. He thought maybe that was in there.
This is the one that YOUKILIS said he's over at first base, saying, well, he called me out on this one. It's right at the bottom of the strike zone, but not a strike that time.
At Pawtucket, AAA, the 3-3 record with a 2.47 ERA, 61 strikeouts, 35 walks for Miller, and then got called up. 2-1 delivery on the way, and a floater that he just lost control of slips away, and a 3-ball, 1-strike count.
Well, when he came up, Gary, he was like the next, maybe not quite as tall, Randy Johnson at 6'10", but he was the next Randy Johnson. Randy Johnson's career turned around when Tom House, who was a pitching coach in Texas, told him, hey, you start on the balls of your feet and you end on the balls of your feet. In other words, your balance. Yep. And so for somebody 6 and 7, I mean, that's sometimes difficult to do. So that's why the windup is not quite as dramatic as it used to be.
So the Orioles will get their first base runner with a 2-out walk in the first inning to Adam Jones. Where Jones, that's the 20th walk he has picked up on the year. And it'll bring up Matt Wieters. Matt in that cleanup spot and DHing today, getting a break from behind the plate. Well, Matt will get an opportunity here to get a 2-out rally going. And that pitch is going to miss inside for a ball. And a little bit of VARITEC and Miller both trying to figure out where the strike zone is right now.
It's wondering.
Yep.
They're wondering, and it's wondering.
Wieters,
yeah,
it is. We've had a couple in the same location that have gone both ways.
I don't think Andrew Miller is going to earn a lot of strikes because he's going to be all over the zone. And, you know, again, just imagine at 6'7", all arms and legs, and even umpires can get overmatched a little bit, especially if you're not consistent.
So VARITEC's going to go out and have a word with him. For Wieters, Matt has got a 3-game hit streak coming into this ball game. He's had a very good series, a 4 for 8, 4 runs scored in this series, and an RBI. It's been a good one, and as a result, against the left-hander on the mound today, Wieters moves into that number 4 spot. Vladimir Guerrero, of course, still on the DL. Wieters has twice before batted cleanup this year for the O's. 2-0 count. Jones, good lead at first base, and a good fastball, just bore that one in.
And he's also hitting well over 300 at 314. I mean, he's got as many home runs in 70 at bats from this side of the plate as he does in 220 at bats hitting left-handed. So pretty good matchup. You get his bat in the lineup and you give him a day off as far as the arm and the legs.
2-ball, 1-strike count. Gets the ball up in the air to right field. Josh Reddick making the start out there, and he's got it. No runs, no hits, no errors. 1 left on base. The concluding rubber match game. Inning into it, no score. play contestant is Charlotte Madison from Baltimore. For every double play the Orioles turn today, Charlotte, you get $1,000 from the Maryland Lottery. See how you can enter. The great scratch-offs for a chance to win and turn the double plays into money or other amazing great prizes. Just go to MarylandLottery.com/double play. Hopefully well hydrated crowd on hand for this one this afternoon. Lots of youngsters from the camps are in attendance as well for this day game. Jake Arrieta will be facing Reddick, Crawford, and SCUTARO. Josh Reddick, he's had a big 4 for 8 series against the Orioles and getting a start in right field, and there'll be maybe a lot more of that coming up for him here in the second half of the year.
It's exactly what you want out of your farm system, your minor leagues. You know, you bring him up. He's always had good springs. Last year struggled early, hit .351 the second half. J.D. Drew, you paid him what, $75 million over 5 years. He's had some good years. This year not. So you can save a lot of money and have somebody that can hit and run him down in the outfield. I'm not sure about the on-base percentage because he's so young. I mean, Drew, one of the best over the last 10 years in doing that.
Reddick will take the pitch away. He's got 7 career home runs. 5 of them have come against the Orioles, including 3 home runs that he's hit here at Camden Yards in his young career. Here's the 2-1 delivery, and another one to third right at him. Oh, Reynolds, who had moved over towards short, didn't have to do a thing except put the glove up, and you better get it up in a hurry. 1 down. Birdland Tradition Friday, 25,000 fans, 21 and over. You're going to get the camouflage floppy hat. You can't see it, but you can wear it. It's presented by Miller Lite. Don't miss the annual fan favorite. The Birds host the Angels, 7:05. That's Friday. 888-848-BIRD, Orioles.com for details. Crawford making his first appearance since coming off the DL in this series, and has had a 2 for 9. He's had a home run off Arrieta. 2 of the 4 hits. 2 for 4 with a homer. And just past the glove and into center field.
Yeah, a little breaking ball. He just slaps back up the middle, and then all of a sudden, if you're Jake Arrieta, looked like he might have a chance to catch it. And the minute he gets on, it's kind of like, at least in the old days, when his legs are healthy, and certainly the way he's running, it appears that way. It's like throwing a double. 9 steals this year out of 13 attempts.
His whole purpose, as with most speedsters, get on. I'll get the other base. Just get me on. Here's Marco SCUTARO. SCUTARO with a 6-game hit streak. He has gone 3 for 7. There he goes. Here's the throw. 1 hopper. Tatum not in time and gets away from Hardy, so Crawford's got the stolen base.
Well, that's what he brings to the tables when he's healthy. I mean, he didn't get on in April. He hit 155. So, again, not a huge lead, but just great speed. Straight steal. He never even looked at home plate. And again, this, Tatum's pretty quick release, but the ball bounces, and J.J. Hardy can't quite handle it. He's going to try to catch it, drop the glove. What a great camera shot right there. Probably would have beat it anyway.
Tatum now 2 for 12 throwing out base stealers, and against Arrieta, opposition 9 for 13. SCUTARO an RBI chance. Roller with a runner going. Reynolds will go to first. 2 down. Crawford moves over to third base.
A perfect pitch to try to get Marco SCUTARO out because he's such a good high fastball hitter. Slider down and away.
And that will bring up Jason Varitek. Varitek and Salta Lamacchia are sharing the catching duties, and one of the rare times where you have 2, not 1, but 2 switch hitting catchers. That's unheard of. Varitek is hitting at 241 overall, left-handed 225, 271 right-handed, but all 5 of his home runs have been hit from this side of the plate this year. So a runner at third base and 2 away for Varitek, 263 with runners in scoring position. And that is in there for a strike. Jason Varitek hitting 303 over his last 25 starts. Really had the bat to come alive for him. As we said last night, the combination has been a good one, both behind the plate and at it for the Red Sox. Off the end of the bat, may have broken that one, and Dino's got it. And Arrieta's out of it. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and a base runner left on in scoring position. Coming back with Lee Reynolds and REIMOLD. By Luna. Call today for the Luna Double. Get your second room of flooring free. 877-241-LUNA. The runner in scoring position leaders in the American League. Cleveland's Travis Hafner on top. Jason Kubel. Then Miguel Cabrera. Matt Wieters at 381 and led that category for about 2.5 months. And Michael Young at 372. Those are the guys who get them home.
Yeah, they just wish that respectively Hafner would stay healthy. He's been hurt. Kubel's still not back. Of course, Cabrera last year led the American League in RBIs. He's like 15 behind Adrian Gonzalez, who plays for the Red Sox.
Gonzalez with 78 leads the majors in runs batted in. Here's D. Lee, 4-game hit streak. He's gone 3 for 8 in the series, average now at 239 on the year. He's had an 0 for 5 against Miller. You take a look, last 2 games, home run, 4 RBIs that Lee has driven in.
The first triple off of Wakefield since 2009, and then a good swing on a fastball down and away last night.
Popped that one up and an inside out. Pedroia wants it. And 1 away in the second inning. Lee retired. And our league leaderboard brought to you by Lexus of Towson, Baltimore area's #1 Lexus dealer, who invites you to come in and see why they are #1. Home runs in the American League. Jose Bautista remains on top, ahead of Curtis Granderson, tied with Mark Teixeira, then Konerko, and Mark Reynolds, who's got 21, and Nelson Cruz also there with 21. David Ortiz, DH for Boston, also in the top 10. He is 9th with 19 homers. Reynolds is 4 for 7 off Miller, and will take the pitch up high for a ball. Reynolds, the RBIs, passing that 50 mark in the ball game last night. .1-0 delivery. Miller misses inside with it, and the count goes to 2-0.
Yeah, you can see again for him. I mean, he can be wild inside the zone and still be effective, again, because of his stuff. But VARITEKC sitting away. He's missed by a couple of feet inside, so pretty much give him the glove down the middle of the plate. Probably won't end up there.
Reynolds hitting .205 off left-handers. He only hit .218 against lefties last year.
Well, 29 hits at home, 21 for extra base hits. Now, that's exactly what they thought he would do.
Pretty much where they thought he'd be. Here's a 2-ball 1-strike count. Interesting note in Baseball Reference that they went back and looked at all of Major League players, those who have home runs, walks, or strikeouts. Those 3 things that constitute 45% of their career at bats. Reynolds is in the top 10. He is 7th in that department. with the percentage of his at-bats being one of those three things: a walk, a strikeout, or a home run. Mark McGwire is the all-time percentage leader, up near 50%. His at-bats were one of those three. 3 ball, 2 strike count. And Reynolds will draw the walk.
There you go. He's going up the ladder.
Continue. That is the second walk surrendered. This one comes with 1 away and REIMOLD up. Nolan REIMOLD's getting his at-bats as promised by his manager. He's been doing it in the role of a DH, where his career numbers continue to be very good, hitting around 280 as a designated hitter. In this ball game, he's out in left field, and he's got a 1 for 5 off Miller. REIMOLD 268 off lefties, 214 off right-handers. And Miller, you're seeing the Miller that other teams and the Red Sox have watched over the years. This is the kind of thing that happens to him. Cruising along, and the next thing you know, the strike zone disappears.
Yep. Well, they've done everything they can. I mean, there's Kurt Young, came over from Oakland to be the pitching coach this year. Just try to cut it down, make it a little bit more concise.
And maybe a part of that story is told in the fact he has a much better chance of getting you out if there's somebody on base than when he's in the full windup. Average against him when the bases are empty is 347. When somebody's on, it's 260.
But his windup is almost like the stretch.
Yeah.
You said, I mean, he starts with his feet way in front of the pitcher's rub. I mean, there's very little movement. Doesn't really allow you. I mean, that's what the windup's supposed to do, get you free and easy. But again, it's always, and again, he's pitching at what, 89 to 92, occasional 93. He used to pitch in the upper 90s, and that's why, of course, you're, #1 draft choice. That's why you're rushed to the big leagues, because somebody figures they can fix you.
He's now walked 11 batters in his last 9 innings.
Well, I went through that, and for a tall guy, I wasn't quite as tall. I'm 6'3.5" to 6'7". It's your release point. You got to figure out where it is. You can see, obviously, I mean, there's a little bit extra. One's 87, one's 89, one's 93. It's hard to sync everything up.
So the count goes to 2 balls and 2 strikes on REIMOLD, with Reynolds on at first and only 1 down. As the Orioles try and get to him here in the second inning. Not a big lead at first, and that's way up high. And the count goes to 3-2. And VARITEKC kind of disgustedly throws the ball back, because he's seen this before too. And he's not going to bother to go out. And obviously, nobody's more frustrated about this than Miller himself.
Well, it's an opportunity because of the injuries to Lester and Buchholz and Daisuke Matsuzaka. He's just not taking advantage of it.
No, he's walked 2 in a row with 1 down. Orioles get something going here in the second inning. 3 walks in the ball game. Now that he's thinking about that, you hope if you're the next batter in Andino, you may get one just right down the middle of the plate as Miller tries to throw a strike.
Well, Robert hits lefties so well at 341, 206 against righties. I guess the dilemma for him is, I want to be aggressive. I hit them well, but I got to make sure it's a strike. But usually when a guy's hitting 341 against left-handers, he's getting strikes to hit.
Red Sox double play depth with 1 away, in at first and third. Navarro at third, YOUKILIS at first. And that pitch is going to be up high, and almost at a point now where you have to take until he throws a strike, because he's not. 1-0 count.
Well, you can see him falling off. He's falling off towards their dugout. And try to stay close, try to shorten your stride a little bit, but again, it's hard to do if you haven't had a lot of experience. There's a little one. See, he just cut his stride down, threw a changeup. So it's a nice call by VARITEKC and trying to get him out of that fastball pattern, and it wasn't working. I wouldn't imagine that this probably will be another one.
1 ball, 1 strike count. Robert Andino's had a 1 for 3 in this series. They'll back up in the infield. Here's the 1-1 delivery in the dirt, and a 2 ball, 1 strike count. And obviously, when Miller gets this started, mentally it becomes even tougher for him, because you don't want to be aiming the ball and just placing it on the bat. Reynolds at second base, REIMOLD at first, 2-1. Andino, and that's up high, and Miller falls behind 3-1.
Well, Gary, you could see that he's trying to make adjustments. I mean, when he comes to the set position, because he's in the stretch now, you're going to see him tuck his front shoulder. And that's the, he already starts with a closed stance. In other words, he's facing over, really into the left fired box. Now, see how he tucks his shoulder? He wants to keep that closed if he can, and he can't.
And he's walked them loaded. 3 walks in a row after a pop-out started the inning.
Well, here comes Kurt Young, who was a left-handed pitcher in the major leagues, a good one, before he became a pitching coach. And of course, he gets to see him. This is the demons that Andrew Miller's always fought.
So Miller in trouble, and the Orioles with a real chance. They've got Tatum coming up with the bases loaded and only 1 away. 4 walks in the ball game already for Miller. He walked 5 in his last outing against Tampa Bay and did give up a grand slam to Ben Zobrist in the 2nd inning.
And the problem becomes, and you made a great point about aiming the ball, is that not only do you aim it because you're trying to figure, well, I'm just going to throw it for the middle of the plate. I don't really know what's going on, but you start squeezing a little bit different. So, but again, he's not going to get any borderline pitches because he's just not consistent enough to earn them.
So let's see what Tatum can do with them. Tatum 4 for 10 off lefties, getting the start behind the plate. Bases loaded and only 1 away. Outfield deep and the infield back. Faces Miller for the first time and goes after one and fouls it away.
Well, I did walk 130 and 129 innings my first year in A-ball, and my theory was once you got one out, you're only 1 pitch away from a double play ball or a pop-up or a strikeout. Now the Orioles are obviously thinking on a more positive note. They're just 1 swing away from maybe a gapper or a looper or whatever. And you're on the board with a lead.
0-1 delivered to Tatum in the dirt, gets away. VARITEKC blocks it. Runner stays. Reynolds, the lead runner at third base, wisely goes back, and the count goes to 1-1.
Yeah, he's just going to bounce a little changeup. Of course, he throws a fastball right by him and comes back with a changeup. And the captain, Jason, does a very nice job because that ball bounced well out in front of home plate.
Tatum getting his first chance in this series. He had his first multi-hit game of the season on Thursday against the Indians when he picked up a couple of hits. 1 ball, 1 strike count. Sacks full, 1 down. Tatum will take that, and that's down low.
Well, this is a veteran catcher at 39 trying to steer a youngster through a turbulent time, but they're not getting the fastball or the changeup over. Terry Francona saying, well, we're going to get Lester back on Monday. Buchholz is playing long catch with a bad back, and Dice case finished for the year.
2-1 delivery on the way. Tatum will foul it away, and a 2-ball, 2-strike count. As Buck Showalter said, and I talked with him yesterday about young pitchers, he said when you get an opportunity, he called them precious innings, and they're not going to last forever. And if you don't get it done, someone else is going to be given the chance. And Miller is in that kind of a spot right now with the Red Sox. 2-2 delivery. Tatum fights it back into the screen.
Well, see, the problem is if you're a #1 draft choice and you throw 95 to 98, which is what he did when he came up, people figure, okay, well, eventually you'll get rhythm. You'll be able to grow into your body. But now it's about 6 or 7 years later. You're throwing 87 to 90. You can't command your pitches. Pitch count is up. You're going to have to, every time he pitches, probably go to the bullpen.
2-2, and there's the off-speed breaking ball, and that's 3 foul balls on a 2-2 count by Tatum.
And again, for a young kid, again with a plus arm, he's probably always going to get a chance. It just may not be with the Red Sox because they're about winning. And he'll be out there today because of injuries. But long term, I can't imagine.
They're not going to have this.
Yeah, we saw Kyle Weiland last night. I mean, the second major league start. Pretty good feel and touch for a young pitcher.
Here's the 2-2 again. Tatum goes to second base. It's what they needed. There's one. SCUTARO. And an Opportunity lost. No runs, no hits, no errors. The double play ends the inning. Orioles baseball on Masson is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Southwest Airlines' new Rapid Rewards, unlimited reward seats, and no blackout dates. So Miller works out of a real jam, and the Orioles lose a big opportunity to get on the board with the bases loaded, one away, and no runs in. And we'll go to the third inning. Third baseman Navarro. Emiko Navarro getting his third start at third base. He's played all over the place. Shortstop, second base, right field, left field, center field. And he was playing at Pawtucket in AAA. He was called up on the 30th of June and has had a couple of starts in left field with a big club. Only time he's ever played in the outfield in the majors. And now getting a start at third base today. Navarro will take it for a strike from Jake Arrieta, who has walked none and struck out one. And the 0-1 outside for a ball, 1-1.
Yeah, Rick Adair, again, we talked about, and Jake has talked about it, the mechanical adjustments, not only when he's struggling, but even before, trying to get, again, just a much more rhythmic windup. So that's why he's going up over his head now. And try to get down the slope to, there's another good slider. Rick Adair was talking about yesterday. He said there's three things that are important about pitching. Alignment, in other words, your alignment as far as home plate is, your posture, that's how you start, and then the rhythm. And that's why, again, if you pump your hand, maybe you get a little bit more momentum going down towards the hitter.
1-2 delivered to Navarro. One after one up in the strike zone. Tatum. Reynolds come over, no play.
So he used to start, when we talked about Jake, he started with his hands, and now all of a sudden more rhythmic and get down. Try to get over that front side. His problem has always been, since I've seen him, and people that I talked in the minor leagues, sometimes the stride gets so long he actually recoils. He'll come back. So again, Rick Adair, as he is with a lot of the young pitchers, just the slight adjustments, and you hope that it'll work, and it's very difficult to do it at this level. It's kind of one of those spring training things you try to do, but hard to do it against the Red Sox, the best offensive team in baseball.
1 ball, 2 strike count on Navarro. He'll ground that short. Hardy. Navarro retired, 1 away. On Sunday, the kids can live out their big league dreams. Fans 14 and under invited to run the bases after the 1:35 game against the Angels. So gather the family up. Make it a memorable day here at Camden Yards. Get tickets in advance. You save when you do. 888-848-BIRD, Orioles.com, and run the bases on Sunday. Top of the order in ELLSBURY. You grounded out his first time up. Oriole young pitchers like Arrieta getting a chance here to prove themselves in the second half. Buck Showalter was asked about Brian Mattis before the game today and how he was doing, and Showalter held it back. He said he's better little by little. So slow progress for what they're doing with Brian Mattis. They've got to get him back up here to work. They intend to. And he'll be given another shot to work here. Zach Britton is the only pitcher, like Showalter said, who right now probably is going to have to be shut down in September. And Jim Johnson clearly is going to be given a chance to start if that's what happens.
Yeah, Buck said he would love to get him as Mark Connor, who started out the year as a pitching coach, get him 3 or 4 starts before the season ends. Oh, a good curveball right there. Excellent.
Buck said today that he wants Johnson to know at the end of the season whether or not he's leaving as a reliever or as a starter regarding next year. If, of course, he's still with the Orioles. There's a lot of interest in him in the trade telephones, but he doesn't want him leaving wondering whether he's going to be a starter or a reliever. So he said we'll see what happens, but he's going to get some starts here before this year's done. Or at least that's the plan. All plans can be changed by a million other things. 1-2 delivery, and he got that one. JACOBY ELLSBURY way back in right field, and goodbye home run.
Well, we talked about it the last 2 games. This is a new dimension for the Red Sox and JACOBY ELLSBURY. 14th home run, 12th against right-handed pitching. And when he comes in, 338. This is why you don't run last night with him at the plate with Guthrie at 109 pitches, because of this capability. The most he had ever hit in his career, Gary, as you know, is 9 home runs. Now 14 of them.
He just continues against Orioles pitching. That's his 2nd home run against the Orioles this year. His 4th home run lifetime in this ballpark. And he's now got a 29-game hit streak against the Orioles.
Well, Daniel Cabrera was the first Oriole to serve up a home run to him. He was on a curveball. And I figured, this is just a young kid. He's a speedster, which he still is. And he just sped up his bat. Well, he's learned to hit the fastball.
Red Sox now have had 66 home runs on the road this year. They are well ahead of everybody in the majors in that department. Here is Dustin Pedroia, grounded out his first time out. A good play made by Reynolds. So the 1-0 lead goes to the Red Sox on their 3rd hit of the ball game. 18th home run surrendered by Jake Arrieta. 11 of those have been hit by left-handers. 2-1 delivery and a good off-speed pitch that he chased. 2-2.
Yeah, that's what he did in his last start against Cleveland. Really, Sizemore would hit a home run off him, but I mean, he threw curveballs and fastball counts all afternoon or early evening. But again, at the end of the day, they hit a couple of home runs, and that was the difference. But solo home runs usually don't beat you.
2-ball, 2-strike delivery on the way. And Pedroia reaching again. Fouls it back.
Well, that's why I call him a pest, because he's able to foul off quality breaking balls. I mean, that's about as good as you can throw a slider, and he just put it in the seats.
Sees more pitches than anyone else in the American League by doing that sort of thing. And also, as a result, he's got a streak going of 29 consecutive games in which he's reached base. That's the highest of his career. And another chopper. Reynolds being tested. Nope. That's going to go foul.
Well, I found it interesting. He won the game on Sunday night in the 16th inning. Had a key 2-run double off the right field wall and a real good pitch from Mark Worrell, his first batter he faced in the American League, coming up out of AAA Norfolk. And he said it's pretty simple. I just try to get the good part of the bat, barrel up the ball, and hit it where it's pitched. And if it's down and away, that's what I do. I hit it to the right field. And you mentioned last night he's got 6 home runs in the month of July. Came in hitting over 400. So a rare for a little guy. A combination of contact and power.
Pedroia, second in the league in homers in the month with 6 in July. And against the Orioles this season, he has hit 3 home runs, and one of those coming off Arrieta. 2-ball, 2-strike count.
He reminds me of a guy that was playing shortstop when I got here, and that's Louis Aparicio, a Hall of Famer, and he would go to play with the Red Sox. Louis was not a big guy, but he had a very, very good bat and a quick bat.
That'll go to Hardy. 2 down. A few ground ball outs being recorded by Arrieta in the ball game, and that'll bring up Gonzalez. Adrian Gonzalez with a single, his first time up. He's now 4 for 5 with a home run off ARRIETA. 4 for 6 rather in the times that he's faced him.
Well, we saw last night with Jeremy Guthrie what he was able to do with the Red Sox is get inside. When he tried to do it to Saltalamacchia, he hit a home run, but he got in with the slider. Jake ARRIETA is much more comfortable on the outside corner to lefties, and they know that. With video footage that you can be able to look at, they pretty much know he's going to stay down and away with all his pitches. So very good. So you can kind of lean, you can kind of dive. I thought Kevin Gray made a great point after we had the throwing episode up in Fenway. He said they've hit 55, we've hit 21 guys. That's the most in the American League. The Orioles don't pitch inside a whole lot.
ARRIETA with a 1-1 delivery on the way, and that'll be taken away. Gonzalez with the 49 extra base hits, best in the American League, even ahead of Bautista with all those home runs. He's got 47. 2 ball, 1 strike count. Gonzalez acting as the DH in the ball game today, and he'll take that one into right field. He's got another hit, so he's 2 for 2 in the ball game, and 5 for 7 against ARRIETA.
Again, the preparation of being ready to hit. When you get the front foot down and you get the separation of weight back and front foot down. And again, he played in San Diego. I mean, even though he came out of Oakland to Texas and whatever, but he had a chance to talk to Tony Gwynn on a regular basis, and that's how Gwynn hit. But of course, never had the kind of power that Adrian Gonzalez had.
YOUKILIS a strikeout victim, and the only one for ARRIETA in the game, and didn't particularly like the call. Had a little discussion with Mike Winters, the home plate umpire. YOUKILIS always has the edge on. A couple of years ago, the edge on was in his own dugout, resulted in a couple of shoving matches in there, but he's a very competitive ball player.
Well, you know, I asked him about that a couple of years ago up at the cage in Fenway, and I said, don't you realize that really gets the opposition upset? He said, I really don't care. I mean, he said, I'm not trying to show them up. That's what it takes for me to get ready to play. Not the first guy that didn't like to make outs.
And he hasn't changed much either. Great pitch by ARRIETA. Came inside on him. He couldn't even get the bat out in the 2 ball, 1 strike count.
Yeah,
Jake up to 52 pitches. We're in the 3rd inning.
Yeah, a little two-seamer that runs down and in. He couldn't hold up. He's looking out over the plate.
Gonzalez on at first base, held by Lee. YOUKILIS will take it. That's a called strike. Doesn't like that either. So he and Mike Winters are in a little tete-a-tete here in the first 2 at-bats.
Well, it is the knees. Now, that ball's probably a little bit lower. You could just see Craig Tatum bring that up, but the strikeout wasn't low. This one was probably under the zone. He's just going to have to become a low ball hitter.
Tatum sets up away, and that will be popped up. First base, Lee, and couldn't get over there in time to get set, or he might have had a play on that.
I'm not sure he really saw it very well either. No. And as you mentioned, hazy afternoon, and of course you got to find right there, looking for it, and then feels the rail. Youngster, the southpaw.
I think he got more glove on it than Derrek.
Yeah, well, once it gets over that railing, it's up in the fandom.
2 ball, 2 strike count on YOUKILIS. And a roller to short. Hardy. 1 run, couple of hits, no errors, 1 left. The home run by ELLSBURY is 14th, gives the Red Sox the lead. the Orioles Great Team Shop. It's located here at the ballpark on Utah Street. Redesigned with lots of merchandise, more than ever. Hope you'll stop by. It's open every O's game, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. on non-game days. And it can be official on-field apparel or retro designs or toys on hand. You can get them at the Orioles team store. 1-0 lead. Andrew Miller worked out of the bases loaded jam in the last inning and will go back to the top of the order as Hardy will lead it off. Hardy flied out to center field his first time up. Bottom of the third inning. Orioles still looking for their first hit. All of their base runners have been the 4 walks he surrendered and misses with the ball.
Effectively wild so far.
274 lefties, 279 righties for Hardy. Consistent against both. 1-0 delivery. Bore that one down and in on him. 1-1.
Yeah, the one thing about Jason Varitek, he's going to force him to use all his pitches because he hasn't really commanding any one. You know, there are days when you just throw the fastball, maybe a changeup, and see if they do anything with it. But today it's all pitches, even though he's wild with all of them.
That's the third. Navarro. Reynolds had one of those earlier, and Navarro got one. Just stay in place with the glove up.
Well, again, just like Jake Arrieta did, you know, 2 down behind the count, 2-1, you need to throw a strike, and Hardy hits it about as hard as you can, and that's why they have, when you pitch, you have 1 guy in front of you, the catcher, and 7 defensemen.
Nick Markakis called out on strikes, the only strikeout that Miller has picked up. He's got only 14 strikeouts in the 27 1/3 innings he's worked this year. And Markakis will take it for a strike. Orioles will get the day off tomorrow, and then the Angels are going to be coming to town on Friday, Saturday night, Sunday afternoon. Alfredo Simon, Irvin Santana will kick the game off. The starters on Friday. Brad Bergeson, Joe Pinheiro in game 2, and the Sunday game, Jeremy Guthrie against Tyler Chatwood.
Yeah, Chatwood tried to beat the Rangers, stopped that 11-game winning streak, and that didn't happen. They beat, as Alexi Ogando won his 10th game, they beat the Angels 7-0 out of Anaheim. Pretty impressive team. 12 in a row now. 5 shutouts in that 12-game winning streak.
Here's the delivery to Markakis. He'll take that to right center field. Reddick. 2 down. End of note, speaking of that, Rangers have allowed over their last 6 games only 2 runs. The last time that happened was the Orioles in 1974, over that long a span to give up that fewer runs. Jeremy Hellick's in Tampa Bay, 7 innings, 2 earned runs Tuesday against the Yankees, the first rookie this year to beat the Yankees. And for Jeremy Guthrie, the win that he got last night against Boston, 13th in 46 decisions in the division. He's 29-28 outside the division, 13-33 in the division lifetime. So if the phones are ringing, Jeremy Guthrie trade-wise, let it be the National League or the Central or the West.
Or go to one of the better teams to keep beating the Orioles in the American League East.
No. Well, then he's got to pitch against
well, you know, Sabathia, they signed him for $154 million or whatever. He couldn't beat the Yankees. Now he's a Yankee.
1-0 delivery on the way to Jones. Showed bunt. Will take it away for a ball.
And a lot of it had to do not because he couldn't pitch, was because of the fact that the team he was pitching against were better.
You don't want Guthrie coming back pitching against the Orioles any great number.
Oh no, I'm not saying that.
No.
But again, if you could get a premium player, I think, you know, it depends.
2-0 delivery, breaking ball in. Well, he certainly, if teams are interested, and clearly they're looking, he certainly didn't hurt his cause in the ball game last night.
He pitched up to his capabilities against the best. I mean, the Red Sox are the only team in baseball that have over 500 runs this year, 516.
Here's the 2-1 delivery, Jones, and behind on a fastball. He walked his first time up, asking Winters if it was a strike or not. And that's not to say Jeremy won't be here. I mean, certainly for the Orioles, the innings that he has put up in the quality games, giving the Orioles a chance. He's going to pitch like that in the second half. Obviously, it'd be an enormous help to the O's. But right now, it's looking to get some quality players and a number of them if there are going to be deals. Fouled away and a 2-ball, 2-strike count. The Orioles have just bereft of help in the minors. It's not there.
power arms and position players. I mean, good position players.
Major league quality.
3 to 5, yeah, 3 to 5 tool players. Not too many of those.
Jones with 2 down and nobody on. The 2-2 delivery. Breaking ball. This Red Sox team, they are looking. There's no question. Story in the Boston papers today. J.P. Riccardi, who's an assistant to Sandy Alderson with the Mets, he was in Portland taking a look at the Double-A team of the Red Sox. Red Sox seem to be interested in Carlos Beltran and Jose Reyes. A bat and a shortstop. He's got another bat, and he'll walk him again. No, that's 5 walks in the ball game. No hits. He's had 3 full counts today.
Yep. Well, the Red Sox got a pretty rested bullpen, so I'll be using them. Pitch count right around, what, 58 now.
And here is Matt Wieters. Bat flied out to right field his first time up, as the O's still looking for their first hit off this left-hander. All of those full counts Miller's gotten to today have all ended up being walks. Jones on at first with 2 down. Wieters continues to put up real good numbers against the East, hitting .306 within the division and .286 against Boston. And Matt's taken on some tough pitching in the American League East and done a good number with it. Jones stepping off a little bigger lead at first. Here's the 0-1. Wieters to short. Scutaro, Pedroia, and gets there ahead of Jones. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 left on base. 3 complete in our day game. 1-0 Boston. Town. Howie Kendrick leading them offensively with the average 8 home runs, 30 RBIs. Their pitching's been outstanding. The 3rd best ERA in the American League. However, they are 1-4 since the All-Star break, and the way Texas has been playing, they cannot afford to slide very much. The Texas having won 12 in a row, and the Angels have now lost 3 in a row and have fallen 5 games behind the Rangers. So they'll be here for the 3-game set Friday, Saturday nights, and Sunday afternoon.
Alfredo Simon getting ready for next year's interleague play.
Simon will be
something wrong with that picture. Isn't Felix P.A. supposed to have the bat, and he's the hitter?
Are you going to tell Simon that?
Yes. I'll make a suggestion.
I'll be right up here watching.
And then you got Luke Scott.
Here's Josh Reddick. And the breaking ball by Arrieta is in there. So through 3, a run on 4 hits, 3 left on by the Red Sox, zeros for the Orioles, and 4 left on base. All walks, big double play, second inning. Orioles loaded them up with only 1 away with 3 consecutive walks, and Tatum hit into a double play to end the inning. Arrieta's going up the home run to Ellsbury in the 3rd for the run. Reddick lined out to third base his first time up. 1-1 delivery up the middle, base hit.
Well, this kid does not miss too many fastballs. A couple of hits early on against Jeremy Guthrie last night. Finally got him out with breaking stuff. But again, 1-1 count. Again, young hitters, if you can come to the big leagues and hit the fastball, you can always adjust to the breaking ball. Or you have a better chance.
So Reddick's on against the Orioles now, 5 for 10 in this series. And here's Crawford. He reached on a single and stole a base, stranded at third in the second inning. Crawford 3 hits, 10 at bats against the Orioles. And Reddick will be chased back to the bag. As we said, against Arrieta, base stealers now are 9 for 13 on the year.
Yeah, early in the year, I mean, he's getting almost 7 runs a game in run support. When you get a lot of early leads, it cuts down on them running. A little different today. You know, Reddick doesn't run a lot as a young player. He still has, looks like he has good speed, but does he have base stealing speed? Not yet.
Reddick with a 1 out of 2 in the games played at the major league level this year. Reddick is in his 29th game since being called up. 0-1 count on Crawford. Orioles playing straight away in the outfield. Reynolds backs up at third now. Good stop made by Tatum to hold the runner at first base. You can see how hot it is today. That dust kicked up when Tatum moved. I mean, it is really dry and baking on that infield. Arrieta 1-1. Not a big lead at first. And Crawford again will take that inside. Again, a pitch cutting down and into the dirt. 2-1. Bullpens will be used in this game if the pitch counts continue. Arrieta's up to 61. He hasn't walked anybody, so that's saved some time, and that's a big number for Arrieta to get away from those walks. It's the first thing Buck Showalter talked about today before the game as to what Arrieta needed to do to get that 10th win of the year. And said he can't walk people. He's got to stop with the walks, and that's about what we hear a billion times a day, fastball command.
Well, it allows you to throw strikes, but it also allows you, if you throw a lot of fastballs, it allows you to pitch and play a guy a certain way. You know, shift him to left field, cuts down the size of the field, especially in the outfield. Just hasn't mastered that yet.
2-2. He got a hold of that one. That's going to go near the wall, and that will be a fair ball into the corner. Markakis as it bounces around. Reddick's going to be held up. He's running through the side. Now he's going to go back. Now nobody at second to cover. Ooh, that was close. Reddick had made a big turn. He was going. Tim Bogart, third base coach, was trying to get in front of him so he could see him, and was running down the line with him to hold him up.
Well, it's a tough call because, again, this is one of the nooks and cranny. You could see it hit up against where the grounds crew comes out. But right here, I mean, he should be running. I mean, you got to have a better sense of that there's no way somebody's playing on the line, and that's why he doesn't score. And there's Tim Bogart holding him up with nobody out. But that was just a slider that sped up the bat of Crawford, laid on the fastball right on the breaking ball and hits it into the corner for a double.
So Crawford's 2 for 2. Runners at second and third with nobody out. Here's Marco Scutaro. 6 hits now for the Red Sox. Scutaro takes it for a strike. Scutaro's got a 6-game hit streak, including a 3 for 8 that he has picked up in this series.
Well, I don't know if he's thinking about this, but any ground ball to the right side gets a run in and it gets the runner over, and it doubles their lead. Got to take a shot to right field on the ground.
He'll take a strike that he clearly didn't think was one, and it's 0-2.
Now, of course, things change once you get to 2 strikes. Look at those numbers. That's
pretty ugly.
Yep, it really is. And you know, last year hurt, shoulder problems, had a nerve coming out of his neck that caused him all kinds of problems.
Here's the 2-strike delivery on the way. One of the reasons, those numbers, why the Red Sox are interested in Reyes, whose name keeps surfacing, that the Mets appear ready to shop him and look for a lot in return, and the Red Sox have a lot to give if they're willing to surrender some of their younger players, especially a couple of younger pitchers.
Well, that gives you, I mean, you already got Crawford, you already got Gonzalez, you already have Pedroia. I mean, it's going to just add another ELLSBURY, another franchise type player. Good pitch right there. Yeah.
ARRIETA with his second strikeout at a most opportune time.
He just tried to stay out of the zone, and you know, again, Tatum moves up and in, and he misses, but just enough off where Marco swings right over it.
And our Jeep Expo brought to you by the 2011 Jeep Compass. So VARITEKC will get the chance, 2 in scoring position and 1 down.
Yeah, there's only a man on third. You probably bring your infield in because he doesn't run very well, even if he got a base hit, but you don't want to give up 2 runs, so they'll play back.
VARITEKC asked for the timeout.
And the only infielder that is in, and that is Mark Reynolds at third base.
ARRIETA's done a good job this year with runners in scoring position, surrendering an average of only 224. VARITEKC, the ground ball, will get a run in, and Dino will make the play. So the RBI to VARITEKC. Reddick scores, Crawford to third, and a 2-0 Boston lead.
Well, nice at bat. We saw REIMOLD do it last night for the Orioles' second run. To get an RBI, obviously you'd like to get a hit. And again, good hitting by Jason VARITEKC, just getting the ball in play.
19 RBIs for VARITEKC and 27 for Saltalamacchia, their 2 catchers. Now Navarro with a runner at third and 2 down. Navarro grounded out his first time up. Third baseman today, and he'll take the pitch outside as Tatum goes out to get it. And a 1-0 count. Leadoff single Reddick, followed by the Crawford double. It's resulted in 1 run in the inning. And now Navarro after the 2-out RBI. And that pitch by ARRIETA will miss up high in a 2-0 count. Navarro's had only 6 chances with runners in scoring position. He's 2 for 6. Super utility player for the Red Sox, as we mentioned. Everything in the infield and outfield he can play and has. 2-0 delivery, and that will catch the corner. 2-1.
Now you mentioned Jed Lowry. He just can't stay healthy. Hurt his left shoulder. He's had wrists, all kinds of injuries. Mononucleosis. Terrific start for him. Maybe not the Red Sox, because they started out 1-8 this season. Hard to believe. Now leading the American League, but that was their start.
2-1 pitch. Good one.
A good breaking ball, and the ability, again, a young hitter. You know, fastball count, that's what he's looking for, and waves at a good slider down and away.
Amico Navarro coming out of the land of shortstop. San Pedro de Macorís in the Dominican Republic, where at one point they had 6 major league shortstops playing at the same time from that same small city in the Dominican. Here's the 2-2 delivery, and swung on and missed. ARRIETA, good job. Could have been a lot worse. Gets the strikeout, a run in on a couple of hits for the base runner left on at third. Carvel's dishing it up. So get it up here, please. by AT&T Rethink Possible and by Nissan. It's Nissan's bottom line sales event, and we're laying it on the line. Visit ChooseNissan.com or see your local dealer today. Navy shipped the USS Torsk submarine, docked in the museum area in the Inner Harbor, available for tours. Great day to be on the Inner Harbor eating ice cream. Here's Derek Lee.
Which you'll probably get around to.
There's never been a day that wasn't good for eating ice cream.
Well, plus it's cooler in here.
Huh?
You know, when the temperatures are getting close to 100, not only do you want the ice cream, you want it's cool. They don't, air conditioning.
You have to eat faster. That's never been a problem.
No. You're a legend.
No.
I walk by there. I walk around the corner, right by your ice cream store. You live right above it, and they go, God, Gary's in here all the time. You get to work with him. He's such a nice guy.
They do say that. I have to admit that. Of course, they lie, but I give them money.
I saw you dozing. I mean, the other day they weren't even open, and you were asleep.
You got to get there early.
Yeah.
You don't want to miss out. Get that first scoop. Here's the 1-2 delivery, and got him. Lee. That strike zone, especially on the outside to right-handers, has been a little wide. Consistent, though.
The kind of day, I mean, again, it's been a wandering strike zone, and, he thinks it's off the plate. We've already seen a number of hitters look it back. But again, this is Terry Francona will tell you this because they won a couple of world championships over the last 5-6 years, but this is a grind-out type of game. It's unpleasant. It's hot. It's a day game. You're not used to playing the middle of the week. But whoever wins is going to win the rubber match. And the Red Sox know how important this game is because they're trying to get to the postseason.
Reynolds will foul that one away. Red Sox a game and a half up on the Yankees. Mike Reynolds drew the walk his first time up. 3 hits last night. That would tie a season high for Reynolds and would be the first 3-hit ball game this year here at Camden Yards for him. And Mark hitting a 227 will take the pitch away. He also questioned a couple of calls on him. He did draw a walk in the at-bat in the second inning, but got it after the 2 strikes had been registered. 1 ball, 1 strike.
And Miller's up to 94 miles per hour. He's been as low as 87, now at 94, and there's a good breaking ball.
He's got a great off-speed breaking ball. If he can just get it set up with the count.
I mean, I went through this early in my career, especially in the minor leagues, and before I hurt my shoulder. You got to learn to pitch. And walking the bases loaded or getting the bases loaded, when you're a power pitcher, which is what he's supposed to be, that's just part of the deal. Everybody else may be panicking. Right there, just a high heat, and you get 92. So he's tough to hit because he's not consistent, and the ball's running and moving. He's using changeups, he's using curveballs, and he's using 5 heaters.
So that's going to be 3 strikeouts for him, 2 in a row here in the 4th inning as he gets Lee and Reynolds. And for all that we've talked about for the 26-year-old left-hander today, he hasn't given up a hit. Here's where REIMOLD drew a walk his first time up, part of that 3 consecutive walks in the inning. REIMOLD will put it in the air this time. SCUTARO back, Crawford in. Crawford. He's got it. Miller has a very good inning as he retires the side in order. So if you really want to have a great day, you put the sprinkles on the top and then eat fast. Won the state of the Orioles. What do you say to the fans who are being asked to wait again? Is it another rebuilding process?
I'm not going to give in, and I'm not going to at any point paint a picture. When I hear people talking about 3- and 4-year plans, they usually scare me a little bit because they're usually trying to cover their butt. And, you know, I'm more of a let's grind the heck out of today, see if it gets us closer to where we want to be, and don't look at longing eyes at what Tampa, Boston, New York is doing. Do what it takes to solve the problem. I'm not into treating a lot of symptoms. I'm more about trying to solve the problem.
He does get to it, doesn't he? And the discussions with the players that are held behind closed doors get to it even.
Well, the one thing he was, you know, you talk about Buck Showalter. You used to always talk to Lou Piniella. I said,
ELLSBURY, and that's caught by Andy.
I'd say, Lou, you know, where'd you learn how to manage? Who taught you that? He said, well, Billy Martin. If you talk to Buck Showalter, he said, Billy taught me so many things, and things that he told me and made me aware of early on haven't changed. And the one thing about Buck Showalter, obviously he's not happy with his team. I think he's been very supportive. I mean, he has been very patient with this group.
Yep. But
he doesn't miss anything. And it's going to change. It may not change as fast as we like it. And I know that I was spoiled because I played on not only one of the best teams for 20 years, but one of the greatest organizations. This organization will get better as long as he's here. And he's not going to put a time on it. He's going to try to do it day to day. And that's why if you're a young player, what an opportunity. Because if you're not performing, you're going to get an opportunity, to come back up here and become a major league player, and then help them get to where they want to go.
And trying to get it done through the organization, as the Orioles used to do, where you have uniformity in what players are taught, especially pitching-wise, up and down the organization. Buck is adamant about that sort of thing. He shakes his head sometimes at what he sees coming up from the minors and wonders how could it be.
That will not stay that way.
No,
it can't. It's got to change, and that was a great luxury. I guess again, you're talking about being spoiled. Everybody, you know, we had the Cal Ripken Sr. running your instructional league at A-ball. You know, you had guys like Jimmy Fry who would go on to manage. You know, Billy Hunter, people like that. George Bamberger managed Milwaukee, managed the Mets, was one of the best pitching coaches in baseball. So Ray Miller went on to be a great pitching coach. They're going to find the way.
Reynolds and Pedroia.
Hitting streak.
Not this time.
Yep.
So it's a new record for Pedroia. Personally, an 18-game hitting streak. His ground balls, 2 of them, have been real tough plays for Reynolds. He made the first one, but not going to get him here.
And again, a high breaking ball, so he swings over it. And again, you know, we don't expect him to bunt. So the infield hit back-to-back games to maintain that hitting streak.
He leads the Red Sox in infield hits with 14 now, 2 ahead of ELLSBURY. And Gonzalez coming up. He's already picked up 2 singles in the game. The designated hitter had gone 1 for 9 in the first 2 games. He's 2 for 2 in this one. And that'll be hit number 7 off Jake Arrieta. Now he's got to keep an eye on Pedroia by throwing over, at least to start, as Pedroia will take off given the chance. Pedroia's got 17 stolen bases in 20 chances. Second on the team to ELLSBURY with 28. Pitch is a strike on the inside corner to Gonzalez, who is now 5 for 7 with a home run lifetime off Arrieta.
Well, they hit a curveball the last time and a fastball up the middle the first time. But the only pitch, the home run up in Fenway, was a fastball out over the plate.
They'll chop that one foul.
Well, that's the pitch that Adrian said that he just has not been able to get ready to hit. He said, again, you got to get the front foot down. You have to be prepared. And if you are able to do that, then you can track the ball a little bit better. Just everybody I've ever talked to said it just slows down. Bert Brett used to say, kind of makes it look like a beach ball sometimes. Of course, he hit 390 that year. I guess everything did look like a beach ball, but.
And he hit it like a beach ball. 2 strike count, Pedroia. Not a big lead. And that will be fouled off again by Gonzalez. Arrieta now in the 5th inning is closing in on a hot day on that pitch count with 81. And in a tough ball game with the Red Sox leading it just 2-0, and in this ball game the Orioles still do not have a base hit. Pedroia back.
Well, the important thing, if you can do it, is try to make a pitch here, maybe, because the only thing that I've seen that Gonzalez can't do offensively is run ball. Maybe you can get a ground ball, and maybe pitch another couple of innings and get some runs, get into the game, give yourself a chance to win it.
Runner goes. Tatum no throw, stolen base. So Pedroia with a big jump and his 18th of the year.
And just kind of bided his time, and right there he's looking just in case the ball is put in play, and then there it is. 18 out of 21.
Gets into scoring position with only one down and a 1-2 count on Gonzalez. Base stealers now are 10 out of 14 against Arrieta. Hardy moves in behind the runner at second. 1-2 delivery. Fisted it to third. Good pitch to get him. Reynolds retired, and there are 2 down.
Yeah, that seems to be the pitch of choice.
This day of baseball history brought to you by Verizon Fios. Switch to Fios, the network ahead. To learn more, visit Verizon.com/getFios. 1944 in the state, Nels Potter became the first player suspended for throwing a spitball. It had been legal until a couple of years before. The Giants, a great scam. 1951 was the first time they started stealing signals with that telescope in the clubhouse in center field. They did it for a long time. And Hank Aaron in this state, 1976, his last home run came off Dick Drago of the Angels. And a strike taken.
Dick Drago. Pitched for us, too.
He pitched for a lot. He pitched for the Red Sox.
Yeah, he pitched for Kansas City.
He had a long career. 1 strike count. Runner at second base. YOUKILIS 0 for 2. 2 for 12 in this series. And Tatum will go to the mound.
Well, anytime you don't get a lot of run support, it's always crunch time when they have another runner in scoring position. So it makes that 84 pitches even a little bit more like probably 95, close to 100, because of the pressure of not having any run support, especially when you're getting close to 7. At least the average is 7 over the starts this year.
And Dino holding the runner at second. Here's the 0-1. And YOUKILIS will foul it off. 2 strike counts. So Arrieta gets ahead of the cleanup batter, trying to get out of the inning and leave Pedroia at second base. The Red Sox have left somebody on, at least one in each of the first 4 innings, a couple in scoring position. One in each inning.
Yeah, the tough thing about YOUKILIS is he's hitting almost 340 with runners in scoring position. The thing on your side, he doesn't know the strike zone today. A lot of close pitches have been called.
And he puts a towering fly ball in the air to right center. REIMOLD called off. Jones will put it away. So no runs, 1 hit, no errors. Another runner left in scoring position. It remains a 2-0 Red Sox lead. LTE, built so you can rule the air. It's either the North Star and it's Christmas time, or it's a very hot day at Camden Yards and the sun's shining brightly. We're going to go with the latter. It's just a guess. Gary Thorne, Jim Palmer, and welcome back, everybody. Jake Arrieta up against it here because the Orioles offense hasn't been able to do anything. What do you see?
Well, I see he's pitching very well. I mean, I really like the new windup. I think he's more aggressive. He's throwing more strikes. You know, it is the Red Sox best offensive team in baseball, but the other side of the coin, you don't win without run support. We've talked all year long about the fact he's almost getting 7 runs a game. Not the case today because Andrew Miller has been effectively wild, and his stuff is getting better after walking the bases loaded in the second inning. He got out, like I said, you get that first out, you can walk the bases loaded, and he got the double play ball.
It is ironic that you can be a pitcher like Miller who's just wild enough so that the hitters can get no stride, can't guess what you're going to throw, and are never sure where the ball's going to go.
Well, the other thing is that Jason Varitek has been around the block so many times. He's still not, you know, I used to just throw fastball after fastball. He's made him use his whole repertoire. So now all of a sudden velocity's come back, and you got to look for 3 pitches.
And the Orioles got to look to get their first hit of the ball game. Here's Robert Andino. Andino leading it off in the bottom half of the 5th inning. Andino had a walk in that 2nd inning when the Orioles had loaded him up with only 1 away and were unable to score a run. Andino hitting at .260 and great numbers against the lefties this year. And he will foul that one back, and a 2-strike count. It'll be Andino, Tatum, and in the top of the order, Hardy.
Well, the good news, it's only 2-0. Again, as you get into the 5th inning, Terry Francona with the rested bullpen, and very much like the Orioles, a day off tomorrow. Give him a chance to win.
Popped that one up to second, struggling with his son Pedroia. Finds it, gets the angle, and gets it. Andino retired. Don't forget, Robert's going to be at the official Orioles team store at the York Galleria Mall in York, PA. That's going to be coming up on Friday. He'll be there 11 a.m. till noon, signing autographs and meeting with fans. That's Friday. Team store in York. For details, you can go to OriolesReach.com. Andino retired, 1 away in the 5th inning. And that'll bring up Tatum. Orioles catcher hit into the double play in the 6th inning. Orioles have won 3 of their last 4 ball games. And a chance for a decent homestand. Tatum got that one down the line, and there is a foul ball. Just missed.
Yeah, even the double play ball, he had a good at bat, fouled off a bunch of pitches, and it hit it very hard on one hop to Pedroia. It sounded like he rolled over, and right here, just, and I mean just, by about, what, a foot. The first Oriole hit would have been extra base hits.
Well, Tatum will take the slow walk back. And an 0-1 count for Miller. Miller's walked 5 and gotten away with it. 3 strikeouts. A couple of those in the 4th inning, back to back. Tatum back in the 0-1. And it'll be up high, hung that one, and a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Andrew Miller just kind of struggling his way through this thing. 74 pitches thrown so far in the ball game by the left-hander. 1-1 delivery, and that one. Where's Bob Uecker? Bob, just a little bit outside.
Terry Francona, of course. Terry was not a pitcher, so he's never done this before. It's kind of like the John Kruk at bat here in 1993 at the All-Star game when Randy Johnson threw a breaking ball behind him. John didn't know where to go.
So he turned to the other batter's box. 2-ball, 1-strike count.
That's when the Krukster was a little bit more svelte.
One of the funniest human beings. He did they do one of the Major League Baseball video games. He's one of the other guys that does the game with me. So we sit in the studio for about 7 days, 5 or 6 hours a day. I come out laughing so hard. Miller trying to get it, couldn't, and Tatum's got a base hit. So the Orioles have their first hit, a single here in the 5th inning. And now, as Jim pointed out, with that you get the potential tying run coming to the plate in a 2-0 ball game.
Yeah, so that's where Jake Arrieta pitching well allows you to have hope, and that's what a starting pitcher wants to do. You know, Andrew Miller, it's nice to have a no-hitter going. He's thinking about, how do I get outs? How do I get maybe another inning? And then how does my bullpen come in and hopefully maintain a lead if I'm able to give them one? Because anytime you have the kind of wildness he had in this era, you're not going to go very deep into the game. You get 6 innings out of him, you're really pleased.
And the leadoff batter with that home run power, Hardy, 14 homers, 7 home, 7 on the road. And he will take the pitch for a strike. Oh, Hardy trying to get it done. The most home runs in that #1 spot, Richie Weeks. All 17 that he's hit this year have come in a leadoff spot. Ian Kinsler with 15, then Ellsbury, Hardy, and Drew Stubbs. Leadoff batters with a long ball. 0-1. Runner at first base. That's going to be to right field. And a liner that's caught. Reddick took a look at first, but no chance for a play there. Hardy retired, 2 down. Tune in to the Mid-Atlantic Sports Report. You can catch it tonight, 5:30 to 7. Tom Davis, Phil Wood, Mel Antonin, Rob Long. All the topics around baseball, continuing coverage of the ball game today, and the conversation with Adrian Gonzalez about his MVP caliber year. 5:30 right here on Massive. So now there are 2 down. MARKAKIS 0 for 2, been called out on strikes and is flied out. Only 1 hit against the Red Sox in 10 at-bats in this 3-game set.
Well, they're going to keep throwing the fastball till he shows him he can hit it. And again, they've been able to keep it on the inside part of the plate.
Nick with that .361 average against left-handers last year. And he's moving up on 300 this year, hitting .296 against lefties coming into the game. 0-1 count. MARKAKIS takes it to right center field. Ellsbury with his speed will get over. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left. The Orioles do get a hit, but not a run. It remains 2-0. AT&T Mobility Trivia Fact. Did you know those kids make a lot of noise? No, that's not it. It's this one, really. Manny Ramirez of Boston, 500th career home run, hit here at Camden Yards in 08 on May 31. And the only other player to have his 500th home run here at Camden Yards, Eddie Murray, who did it in 96.
That's the day. The next day, Manny came running out on the field. I'll see you in Cooperstown.
Not yet, Manny.
I don't know. That's the same series where he caught a ball over his head, made a great running play, and then went up and high-fived the fan in left center field here.
The Cooperstown is always open and available for all fans to come and enjoy it.
I don't think he can go in that connotation.
I know he didn't.
Yes.
Here's Josh Reddick.
Lovely place.
Beautiful. This time of year, gorgeous.
It'll be a little toasty on Sunday when Blyleven and Alomar and Gillick get in, but
I cannot wait for Blyleven's speech. I already know what the first line is.
Yeah.
So that'll bring the house down.
Yes, it will.
0-1 count on Reddick. Reddick is single scored and lined out. That's going to go to right field, and that's going to be a base hit. Mercy.
Okay, he can hit the fastball. He's proved that.
So he's got 6 hits in this series and 11 at bats.
This is getting boring. Does he ever pop one up?
It's line drives.
Yep.
So Reddick is on, and against Arrieta, that will be hit number 8. Arrieta at 88 pitches. Jake has thrown 100 pitches 6 times this year, high of 108 against the Twins back in April. Crawford's 2 for 2 as well. He has single, doubled, stolen a base, stranded both times, though. Tatum will block and will hold the runner at first base. Leadoff man has been on 2 out of the 6 innings. Actually, Arrieta in that department has been a little better than his 63% number on the year. Boy, the Red Sox happy to have Crawford back and to see that he has picked up where he left off, because before the injury he had been hitting over about a 20-game span, and then the injury took him out. He's come right back here in this series, and he's picked up a total of 4 hits now and 11 at bats.
Well, for him, of course, it's about being healthy, and especially with the legs. A couple of years ago, where they went to the World Series, he missed most of September with a hand injury, but it's about his legs, so he can do a lot of things when he can run.
He will pick up infield hits, he will steal bases, and he will run down some balls in the outfield. Second half of the season could very well be an outfield of Crawford, Ellsbury, and Reddick, which we are seeing today, as J.D. Drew's numbers have not been good, so he may draw less playing time, select playing time, if you will, especially the way Reddick is hitting. And the 1-1 delivery. Arrieta will miss away, and Tatum will head out with nobody out, and a runner on here in the 6th.
Well, it's kind of a crucial inning, only in the respect that the scoreboard says 2-0. You're getting up close to 90 to 100 pitches. That's the 91st. So again, you usually don't pitch under these conditions, and we talked about it. Jake Arrieta, the one thing that he tried to do this year after spending his first year in the big leagues last year, to come in a little bit more fit. It always looked to me that he could play for the Ravens and play linebacker, because he's a big guy and well conditioned, but he became he said he did a lot more cardiovascular, and you could just see it. He's just leaner.
2-1 strike. Reddick pretty good lead, so medium toss.
He has never ever stolen bases when we talk about Josh Reddick. I mean, a couple of years ago at AAA, 4 out of 11. Caught more times than he was successful, so that's something he'll probably acquire.
And Crawford will foul it off. It won't hurt that he's playing with Jacoby Ellsbury and Kyle Crawford. I mean, if you watch and learn and ask, you're going to learn a lot about base stealing. He clearly has the speed, and now you've got to learn how to actually steal a base to get the lead, the secondary lead, and reading pitchers. 2-2 strike count. He's walked off about a half a step more at first. Nobody out. 2-2. Runner goes down to first, and that is a foul ball.
Now, the problem with throwing Carl Crawford breaking balls is it does speed up his bat. That's what he hit off the wall down in the right field corner. I always thought until you get to 3-2, you're just trying to throw 2 seamers down and away. Even if he hits a single to left, a double play is still in order. They would love to be able to get Reddick to third base.
Crawford, SCUTARO, VARITEKC due up in the inning. 2-2 strike count on Crawford. Lead cut back a little by Reddick. Not going. And it is in the dirt again. So a 3-2 strike count from Arrieta. And it gets a little dangerous. Let's see on the 3-2 with nobody out whether Reddick will take off. Crawford is very tough to double up. Bullpen action with Birkin for the Orioles.
Yeah, he'll be running here. The only way to double up Crawford is to get him to hit a line drive at somebody.
Reynolds moves in a couple of steps at third base. There goes the runner. Swung and a miss. And interference call and a break for the Orioles. So Reddick will be out of there at second base on the interference call on Crawford. And that eliminates the base runner. And for Arrieta, there's a couple of quick ones.
Yeah, a little backdoor breaking ball. So Crawford comes right out in front of him, and there's your interference. And Francona's going to come out. Terry's going to come out and have a talk. And right here, you just interfere. He holds on to it. I'm not sure he would have been able to throw him out because it was a breaking ball. It was 3-2. He got a big lead. But again, if you're Mike Winters, you don't have a choice but to make that call. It's not like where you get the ball down in the corner where a fan interferes onto the field of play and you get to place the runner.
But he clearly prevented the catcher from making a throw. And the argument's made, but not for long. So it is a double play turned unusually, but Charlotte Madison from Baltimore will not care how it was turned. It got done. You've got $1,000 from the Maryland Lottery double play contest. Congratulations. Put out will go to the catcher. Ground ball to short. Artie's got it. Boy, did that inning get changed in a hurry. And first time that he's gone more than 5 innings since a game against Toronto on June 15. Arrieta getting it done. Orioles action. It'll be game 1 of the weekend series against the Angels. Alfredo Simon taking the mound against Irvin Santana. Our coverage on MASN HD 6:30 O's Extra, presented by Verizon 4G LTE, followed by our game coverage at 7. All the access you need right here on MASN.
Yeah, there they are. Simon back from the Dominican Republic, and Santana, again, low ERA, as you mentioned, 3rd best ERA in the American League for the Angels. Run scoring, especially lately, has been their problem, and they went up to Oakland and lost 3 out of 4. They had won like 20 out of 27, and so they had the 2nd best record right behind the Rangers going into the break. They've struggled, and the Orioles are lucky. They miss Heron and Weaver, who pitch against Texas.
They missed 2 of the top ones. As we said, with the trading deadline coming at the end of the month, one of the things to look at, not only the division leaders, but who's still in the wild card race. In the American League right now, the wild card is held by the Yankees. They're 5.5 ahead of Tampa Bay in that spot. Cleveland, Detroit 6 games out. Angels 6.5, and Toronto 9.5. You see Cleveland and Detroit are also tied for the central lead, so you got to figure if either of those teams is going to go, they've got to win the division. Same for the Angels. Not likely you're going to be able to jump over those teams in the second half of the season. And the wild card will probably come out of the East again.
You would think so.
And that affects who's a buyer and who's a seller. Clubs who still think they got a shot at the wild card are just as much in tune to buying as are those trying to win a division. Adam Jones up and showed bunt. He'll take the pitch inside for a ball. 2-8-0 for the Red Sox, 0-1-0 for the Orioles. Each team has left 5 on base. First inning was the 6th where the Red Sox did not have a base runner left on. Couple of walks for Adam, looking to extend his 5-game hit streak, 4 for 9 in the series. And Miller cuts the outside corner with that one. 1 ball, 1 strike. So Miller at 89 pitches. So the Red Sox bullpen, they were thinking about what they're going to do down there. He threw 109 pitches in his 2nd start at Pittsburgh. That's the only time he's gone over 100 in the games started this year at the major league level. Two ball, one strike count on Jones. Adam with a .305 average here at Camden Yards this year, and 13 of the home runs that he's pumped, 13 out of 16 have been hit here.
Well, again, has not walked anybody since the third inning. That was when he got his fifth walk, and somehow has figured it out. It's kind of interesting when we were talking about Randy Johnson learning to start on the balls of your feet and land on the balls of your feet. The Oriole pitching coach Rick Adair said he's got a friend that's actually going to make a shoe that kind of makes you do that. A little bit more of a wedge in the heel. Used to have, remember, I don't know, they tried to pull it off on the PGA Tour where if you're a right-handed golfer, they would have a wedge on the outside of your right foot so you would stay inside your right hip. Well, they outlawed it. Now, so this shoe is it's going to make you stand on the balls of your feet and also move in, so you're. It'll be very interesting if anybody will ever actually try to use it, but it's a very novel idea, and the reasoning being is that's where all your nerve centuries are, the balls of your feet. So if you can do that, better chance to repeat your windup. Is that a little bit more complex for you?
It's a day game.
Nice, but it's something you wouldn't have to think about.
Oh,
maybe that's not a good story for a day game after a night game.
I was just trying to think what it would feel like while you're just standing there. That's when you might fall down.
Well, you got to keep moving around.
3-2 delivery is a towering pop-up. Pedroia can't find it, and he's hoping YOUKILIS can, and did. Pedroia had no idea where it was, and he was looking over at YOUKILIS like, oh, find this thing, make that catch, please. And Jones is retired. And our minor league report brought to you by PNC for the achiever in you. And yes, it is Buck Britton, the Bowie infielder. There are the combined numbers that he has with Frederick at A-ball and Bowie AA with a very fine .315 average, .371 on base percentage, and a .500 slugging percentage.
Yeah, but the one thing his brother Zach has that he doesn't have is a major league home run.
It's coming.
Well, it is.
Strike on the inside corner. He was selected, Buck selected by the Orioles out of Lubbock Christian, 35th round in the 08 player draft. Matt Wieters with a one strike count, one away. Wieters 0 for 2, fielder's choice and a fly ball out. And again, the outside corner strike. It's been there all day, and it goes to 0-2.
Yeah, going back to those shoes, it would probably be hard to cover first base or back up home.
One thing you do, you could get rather awkward. Could get rather awkward trying to run in those
Maybe
shoes.
It'd be a training shoe.
Training shoe?
Yeah, you know, your size.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Exactly.
0-2 delivery.
Well, and the reason I say that is because George Bamberger was the first pitching coach that I had in the minor leagues, and then we went to Ray Miller, and Ray was terrific as a pitching coach because he pretty much learned from George. He'll tell you that. And when you take your step back, it's so much about balance. And he said, when you take the step back, if you're right-handed, you're going to be stepping back on your left foot. Always try to stay on the ball of your foot because it keeps your weight over the pitching rubber, and that's what you're pushing off of. And it makes so much sense. See right there, heel. Now you got to come back and find your middle zone. So again, if you put a wedge there when you took the step back, you'd be on the ball of your feet. And Rick Adair says that in his years and years as a pitching coach, that's where all your balance comes. That's where your neural sensory positions are on the ball of your feet. So again, that's why you try to get a pitcher to stay over the pitching rubber and have a good sense of balance, which is going to get right here, and then you go to home plate.
The neural sensory perception's working and gets the ground ball.
Well, he's found it. He lost it in the second when he walked the bases loaded, but it's back.
You don't want to use or lose those neural sensory perceptions. I mean, it makes sense. Or you could just put a block of wood behind the pitching slab and.
Well, again, that's one of. It's funny when you go take a golf lesson. A lot of times they will put a block of wood, or they will put golf balls, which.
I hit the wood.
Yeah. Oh, well, okay. I understand.
No, that's when I gave up golf.
And again, it's just trying to keep you. I know it sounds funny, but when Rick Adair was telling me this yesterday, first thing I thought about was James Shields. That's what he worked all last winter about, is from the ground up. And again, that's where you start your windup.
It's the never-ending process of trying to find whatever will work to help individual pitchers, throwing towels literally in the bullpen where you use a towel instead of a ball to come through the motion. You went to Texas, you threw footballs. Another place you use tennis balls.
Well, Mike Butcher's coming in with the Angels, and he does the sanitary sock with the ball in your hand, and you throw. The ball goes about 4 or 5 inches, but you feel the ball coming off your fingertips, and it makes a lot of sense. And you don't have to go chase it.
Everybody's got to make a living. Here's the 2-0 delivery, and the pitch is away.
Well, I'm a big golfer, and if somebody, you can go take a golf lesson, and the minute the golf pro walks away, you're on your own and you're in trouble.
Go right back to the same thing you were doing.
If whoever is your teacher can give you, as we look at Matt Albers, can give you really good practice devices to try to do what he told you, which is the same in pitching, and that's why when the game speeds up and you get out there, all the work you do in the bullpen sometimes just kind of leaves.
Trying to maintain that focus. More importantly, to have it just ingrained so that you don't have to think about it. That's going to be towards the middle, and it's going to be a base hit. SCUTARO diving, couldn't get it. So Lee is on with a 2-out single here in the 6th inning. The Orioles have their second hit of the ball game, both singles, with Tatum getting the other one.
Yeah,
and
hit
again,
sharply,
the potential tying run to the plate.
SCUTARO's going to try to get it and can't. So the Orioles have a chance now to tie it up with one swing, and who better than Mark Reynolds?
Reynolds will come to the plate, having walked and struck out. 72% of his hits here in this ballpark have been extra base hits this year, even though his overall average here at Camden Yards has not been good, coming into this game hitting at 180 at home, 277 on the road. But if he gets a hit here, put an extra base hit behind it. And we'll take the pitch inside for a ball.
Well, the one thing he does, and we talked briefly, Jim Presley, who came on for Terry Crowley, pro now and a consultant with the Orioles, said one of the things they want him to do, because he's so strong, is to be able to hit the ball with backspin. And that's why they take the tee high and the pitches high, and he works on swinging down, because that's what Ellsbury has done. That's why his home run total's up. He hits the ball with backspin probably better than any Oriole hitter. That's why the ball goes so far.
1-0 count from Miller, and he's going to miss up high. Plus, you've got Miller right where you want him if you're Reynolds. He's now thrown 100 pitches. He's had a hot day already, and he's tired. And this is when you may get one of those you can burn, and that's why there's going to be a visit to the mound right here to have a little discussion. Kurt Young.
Well, this could be either, I don't think that he's going to make the pitching change, but if it's not, hey, do not give in to this guy. And the reason, not that Nolan REIMOLD can't hit, because he certainly can, but this is not Groove One. I mean, let it go. I don't mean overthrow it, but just don't aim it. Not with a 2-0 lead.
He's given up 3 home runs in the 5 starts, all to right-handers. And that was just a time for a breath visit. Virtually nothing said. Miller will be done at the end of this inning if he can get through it. And the Orioles are going to try and take advantage now of his 1 or 2 last pitches and maybe get this thing tied up if Reynolds can lock into one. Reynolds with a 2-0 count. Lee off first base. Pitch is going to be away, 3-0. REIMOLD is waiting on deck. Matt Albers is in the bullpen and ready. Now do you let Reynolds swing 3-0?
That's certainly a possibility. We saw Matt WIETERS do it last night, hit a RBI single into right field off the glove of Gonzalez.
He was looking for one to drive to tie the game up.
Except he makes a really good pitch. It's not one that a lot of hitters will chase, because it's right on the outside corner, bringing in about 6 inches and much more hittable.
Reynolds trying to drive one. Now a 3-ball 1-strike count. And walked it. So the gas tank pretty much on empty for Miller. That's 6 walks that he has surrendered in the game, and that will be it for him.
Yeah, 11 batters between walks, from 5 to 6.
Terry Francona will be coming out to get him, and Miller will leave the game with a chance to win it, having worked the 5 2/3 innings. And Matt Albers, the former Oriole, who ticked off his former teammates when they were in Boston with his gesturing after he retired the side, will come on. On Miller, giving up only 2 hits with 6 walks, 3 strikeouts, responsible for the 2 base runners on, and Albers comes on to pitch.
Yeah, and he's been red hot. Again, that 16-inning game on Sunday, 1-0 victory, inning and 2/3 scoreless, 8 1/3 scoreless frames over the last 6 appearances. I mean, you can go on and on. 1 run in the last 15 outings, only 2 runs over his last 18 games. So this is certainly not the guy we saw in Baltimore, because he could be very, very good and he could be very, very bad. But again, he used to have trouble getting lefties out. This year it really doesn't matter. Righties and lefties able to get them out almost equally as well. Of course, the only home run hit by a left-hander.
And the story in the Sun today about Albers saying things and gesturing in the game in Boston when he came on. Players saying it really irritated him because of his gesticulations, and apparently an expletive hurled at the Orioles dugout as he left the field. So it adds a little extra here as Albers with the Orioles, 3 years, 3-3, 2.37 in Boston, and for Albers, a chance again to do damage to his former team.
When he gets the arm slot where it's supposed to be, he can have really good stuff.
And that's going to get a short. That'll be played by SCUTARO to second. Albers comes on and will get the out. So the Orioles unable to do anything with it. We'll leave a couple on here in the 6th, and it remains a 2-0 lead.
Afternoon, bases loaded second inning. No hits given up yet. Craig Tatum sharply hit. Terrific turn of the double play by SCUTARO. Next inning, 14th home run of the year. JACOBY ELLSBURY, that's the first run. And then the captain, Jason VARITEKC, runners at second and third. RBI fielder's choice to second base. ARRIETA still in the game. Andrew Miller with a chance to win on the bench as Albers came in to get him out of the sixth inning.
ARRIETA will continue on. Try and give himself a chance to be the pitcher of record. The Orioles can get some runs, and obviously this ball game very much still up in the air. The home run hit by ELLSBURY came in the third inning, and then the RBI ground ball by VARITEKC in the fourth, accounting for the Red Sox runs as we go to the top of the seventh inning. VARITEKC, Navarro, and ELLSBURY. VARITEKC with the 0 for 2, but does have the RBI. ARRIETA, no walks, 4 strikeouts. VARITEKC showed bunt, and I mean, he's not going to do that obviously very often, but Reynolds was playing way back and way over to short. So now Mark's got to decide, did he mean it? He'll stay in about 2 steps.
That's it. Tenement.
And a chopper.
And then he catches his own little hopper.
Just like he does behind the plate.
Yeah.
One ball, 1 strike count from ARRIETA on VARITEKC. Orioles bullpen is ready to go if needed. Down the inside corner for a strike 1 and 2. Red Sox with the game-and-a-half lead over the Yankees, who both lost yesterday. Tampa Bay now 7 games out. Cleveland, Detroit tied in the Central, and Texas with a 5-game lead over the Angels in the West. VARITEKC inside out protecting, just got enough to foul it off. And it'll stay 1 and 2 on the Red Sox captain. ARRIETA, the 100 pitch mark. Here's the 1-2. ARRIETA trying to make it 2 games in a row in which the Orioles will have a starter able to go 7 innings in the ball game.
Hendrickson, the Oriole pitcher, getting loose. Too hard to do on an afternoon game like this.
Breaking ball is going to miss inside. He started at 91. According to the Weather Bureau, it has stayed at 91.
Yeah, I guess the heat coming in on Friday, where it's going to be close to 100 degrees by Sunday. So
night games Friday, Saturday, day game Sunday against the Angels. 2 ball, 2 strike count on VARITEKC. In the air, right field, long run. MARKAKIS diving. Oh, nice play! Nick MARKAKIS, who is shading into center, and a long way to go, and gets it.
Yeah, tough sun field. I mean, a lot of stuff going on. Wind coming up a little bit, but you could see him way out in right center. So a long way to go, and he gets there at the last moment. You don't see Nick have to dive very often. Certainly a extra base hit for VARITEKC, and Jake ARRIETA saying, if I can get out of this inning, my guys get to hit again. Another chance. And this is really what Buck Showalter, Rick Adair, the Oriole pitching coach, want their guys to be able to do.
Hits it in there for a strike. ARRIETA, of course, is trying to pick up that 10th win of the season. Last Oriole, 10 wins, month of July, was Eric Bedard. That one in the air, in the gap. Look out. Jones calls for it and puts it away. Couple of long fly ball outs. Oriole Park, great setting for your next group outing. Gather up family, friends, co-workers, and colleagues, and have a great night or day here at the ballpark. Discounted ticket prices for groups as small as 15 up to 1,000. Camden Yards, your next group outing right here. 888-848-BIRD or Orioles.com. 3,000 kids on hand, Baltimore City youngsters, and 5,000 campers on hand. So 8,000 kids at the ballpark today, part of a crowd of 35,174. 35.
Really?
174. A lot of them smartly sitting up underneath where they
bring your canteen, look for some shade.
Yep.
Hope the Orioles can rally.
Good game. 2 down, nobody on. Ellsbury. He's already put 1 out. Make it 2. Way back in right field, and goodbye home run.
There you go, 15. That's 6 more than he's ever hit in his career. This time it's a curveball. Look at the glove. Well, maybe it's a changeup. I think he just pulls the changeup across the. You know, he doesn't throw a changeup that slow. But again, he just launches it. And it's a home run off the bat.
Well, Ellsbury just continues to dominate Oriole pitching. Hitting over 470 against the Orioles this year. He's got 3 home runs against the O's this year. And he has 5 lifetime home runs here at Camden Yards. Here's Dustin Pedroia. It came with 2 down after a couple of fine defensive plays. Had gotten the first 2 outs.
Well, he just brings such a dimension. I mean, he's like the new Ricky Henderson as far as being able to steal bases. I kept reading last year after the early collision where he broke his ribs that he didn't want to play and this and that. What nonsense.
Yep, he was under a lot of pressure in Boston.
Well, because they know how valuable he is. But if you're a young player and you're coming off a year where you stole 70 bases, you hit over 300 or 301, and you're making about $400 and some thousand when you get a chance to make mega millions,
8 or 9 million.
I think you're going to play if you're able to. They were just disappointed he couldn't play.
That'll go towards third again. Another tough play. Reynolds gets it there in time. Pedroia's retired, but another run added for the Red Sox. 7th inning stretch time, brought to you by Jack Daniel's Tennessee Honey. Fly straight, drink responsibly. Hankook Tires. Well, the flow of this game, 2 pretty good pitching matchups with Andrew Miller, even though walking people a chance to win it. 6 walks surrendered. Arrieta on the other side, good job, except for the man at the top of the order. Ellsbury has now got a couple of home runs.
Yeah, I mean, that's why they're such a multi-dimensional team. When the Red Sox won back in 2004, Bill Miller he had 9th, and he led the American League in hitting that year. So, you know, in the American League, you got the 3 of the top 4 offensive teams. And now you're seeing why the Red Sox are tough to beat, even when you pitch well. And Jake Arrieta, I mean, this is one of the better games he has pitched, but he's used to getting run support so far, and this game not over. He has been able to do that.
Arrieta with the 3rd most run support in the majors at 7+ runs a ball game, but not been able to get it done here. There you see Lester at the top, then Sabathia, then Jake Arrieta at 6.95. That's a lot of runs. Orioles have not done that for any of the other starters, and today have not been able to do it either for Arrieta. So he will watch here with the team down 3-0 in the bottom of the 7th inning and hope the Orioles can find a way to score some runs. Matt Albers will stay on after coming on to get the final out in the last inning. And bunting. They were looking for it. Navarro, nice play. Red Sox moved in on the pitch all the way around in the infield, and Andino's retired.
Well, again, you want to pitch well, you better defense well, and part of it is being able to anticipate what a hitter may do. And don't think when the Orioles were out bunting on Monday that they were not out here watching him work. And, you know, Andino was one of those guys, Blake Davis, Matt Engel. So, again, what do you need to do to get back in the game? You need base runners, and they take one of them away from the Orioles.
That's why that run picked up in the 7th inning, the 3rd one, makes such a difference. Fouled away as Tatum with an 0 for a 1 for 2 in the ballgame with a base hit. Orioles have stranded 7, 5 left on with the Red Sox so far. Orioles have had 3 of those 7 left on in scoring position. Miller left the game, giving up no runs on just a couple of hits. And Tatum will foul that one off, and an 0-2 count.
You got Randy Williams. We saw him in the 15-10 game. He was all over the place. And then you have Daniel Bard, who hasn't given up a run over the last 21 2/3 innings, over 20 appearances, and he close to 100 miles per hour to get to their closer right behind him, Jonathan Papelbon, who's got 21 saves. So good back end of the bullpen.
0-2 delivery is going to be swung on a miss.
Well, that's the pitch that Albers came up with last year in spring training, and when he had it, it's very effective. And again, you know, Craig Tatum doesn't get to play very much, and this is the perfect put-away pitch. You don't have to throw a strike. You just have to get it under the strike zone, and that's exactly what he did.
Albers appearing in his 3rd game against the Orioles this year. He has pitched 4 innings and given up nothing. 1 walk and 6 strikeouts against his former team. Here's Hardy at the top of the order, 2 down and nobody on, and the pitch is inside from Albers. The Orioles have been shut out only 4 times this year. The Red Sox have 9 shutouts against opponents. Albers with the 1-0 to Hardy. And JJ will take it. It will miss. Hitting at 274 with an 0 for 3 so far in this game.
Well, Matt Albers was always on the edge of making a breakthrough when he was with the Orioles. And he came over in the Tejada trade back in 2007. I mean, pitched in a lot of games, 56, 62 over the last 2 years. And, you know, when he could get the ball to sink, almost unhittable. You know, he has a pretty good curveball, came up with a slider, and he was a starting pitcher. Not that he had any success in the National League. He had a changeup, but never really threw it much. But somehow they have been able to get him, and maybe it's, you know, the winning atmosphere where he's got to be more accountable. When you play on a winning team, the expectation level goes up. And if you don't do the job, your teammates aren't happy.
Albers 2-1 on Hardy. And on the outside corner with that one.
That's perfect. And this is part of the velocity we saw. We just didn't see in the arm slot to be able to deliver this pitch. Watch this, 94 with great movement. That ball ran about 4 inches. That's what he did down in Tampa Bay. He threw that same pitch at left-handed hitters, throw it at that right hip, and let it run back and hit the inside corner.
2-2 delivery on the way, and that will be a silo shot for VARITEKC. Over the screen, just enough to go over, and a 2-ball, 2-strike count. Hope you'll entertain clients, colleagues, and friends with a suite package here at Camden Yards. Private suites available. Lots of different options for you. A great way to make a statement for your company. You can get information at Orioles.com/suites or a private tour by calling 410-547-6076. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 down. Orioles batting in the bottom half of the 7th inning, down 3-0, having only 2 singles in the game. One by Tatum and one by Lee. And Hardy will just get enough to foul that one back. It'll stay at 2-2. The Red Sox trying to win their 28th game in the division. They have the best division record in all of baseball. 27-12 against the East. Terry Francona in his 8th season with the Red Sox has moved up to 2nd in most wins in managerial history for Boston, behind only Joe Cronin. Texas is 18-9 in the West. They're 2nd best in against their own division, and got him. And that is that strike everybody's been upset about that's been away. Albers with 2 Ks in the 4 batters face. 3-0 Red Sox. Player of the game, and here are the options. Ellsbury, a couple of home runs and the 2 RBIs. Jake Arrieta, 3 runs, 9 hits over 7 innings. And Andrew Miller, the starter on the other side, no runs, 2 hits, 5 2/3. You can text in your vote A, B, or C to 518-62. Well, Arrieta leaves the ball game. He did not walk anybody. That's something they were high on working on. It's only the second time in his career that he's gone to a game without walking anybody. The other time was against Boston last year in September.
So the 37-year-old left-hander just up the road, kind of where Robert Andino is going, York, Pennsylvania. He comes in, got the win on Sunday. He did pitch against the Red Sox in that 4-game series right before the All-Star break. Recalled that day. He was down at AAA Norfolk, 2-4 record, but a low ERA, under 3 runs a game at 2.87.
We will go to the 8th inning with a left-hander on the mound against Gonzalez, Youkilis, and Josh Reddick due up for the Red Sox. So Hendrickson will try and hold it right where it is, and the O's will try and find a way to get some offense going in a game where they have been stymied. Gonzalez, 2 hits, 2 singles, 2 for 3 in the ball game. And Hendrickson's first pitch will be taken outside for a ball. So for Arrieta, it's wait and hope. Pretty good performance here. Tough trying to get to that 10th win of the season. He got number 9 back on June 20 against the Pirates. Since then, a couple of losses and a no decision. That one hit very deep.
Well, it's the kind of game under conditions, and again, who you're pitching against, that if you could pitch this way the vast majority of the year, you're going to win 15, 20 games. I mean, he pitched real well. He got out-pitched, even though Miller did it in a very unique way. And then he couldn't. The only guy he had trouble with, really, was Ellsbury. And everybody's having trouble with him.
And today, that trouble may be enough to undo him.
Well,
we'll see.
That's baseball.
Yep.
What did Mac Wieters say? After you lose 15 and 10, you come back and beat them 6-2. He said that's the great thing about the game, day to day.
Fouled away. Gonzalez is 5 for 17, lifetime off Mark Hendrickson. In the middle of the order with Youkilis and Reddick coming up, so Henderson with a formidable task here in the top of the 8th inning. 2-ball, 2-strike count. Gonzalez, league leader in hitting at 339. And he's going to add another. So a 3-hit day as Gonzalez is 3 for 4. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the Orioles may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Orioles. And that will bring up Kevin Youkilis. Youkilis has had an 0 for 3 and just 2 for 13.
And look at those numbers off Mark Hendrickson.
And the off-speed breaking ball is in there for a strike.
He's not an overpowering pitcher. He never has. I mean, at 6'9", you think, well, he's going to rear back and throw hard, but it just never seemed like he's had a lot of arm speed. He's going to get you out with change-ups, and, you know, the lefties last year used a 2-seam fastball. He's got a big curveball.
Stop made by Tatum.
That's pretty much what you're going to see right there, 87 to 89. Just try to stay out of the middle of the plate and get you to roll over or maybe pop one up.
Gonzalez, not a base stealer at first. Youkilis, 1-ball, 1-strike count. Hendrickson trying for the outside corner, won't get the call. 10 hits on the board for the Red Sox. Again, they go into that double-digit number. They had 8 in the ball game last night, with the Orioles winning at 6-2. Both teams had 8 hits in the game. 2-1 delivery, and that will miss as well, and the count goes to 3-1 on Youkilis.
And then the problem here is that Youkilis, as we look at Worrell, who came in the other night, he just wears out left-handed pitching. 330 coming into this game, 261 right-handed. He doesn't usually chase, not out of the zone.
3-1 delivery, got one in the zone. That ball deep to left field. REYNOLDS going back, and that's going to take a hop. It will go up and over as REYNOLDS slips on the warning track. It'll be a ground rule double, and for the moment will save a run.
Yeah, but You got a guy that wears lefties out. He gets a good hitting count. He's looking for something in the middle of the plate, and that's pretty much where this ends up. And then because of the rain last night, we saw right here, I mean, that's, again, we saw two guys slip in the outfield yesterday because that's where the field drains. So very unusual here at Camden Yards to see turf going out. You're just hoping that Nolan REIMOLD, who had that Achilles problem 2 years ago, didn't aggravate a hamstring or something.
Now the infield has got to play in halfway. And here's Reddick, red hot with 2 hits in the ball game. He's gone 2 for 3. Reddick's got 2 in scoring position and nobody out.
And he's only 8 for 15 off the lefties this year, minimal at bats,
including 1 home run. Wearing out the Orioles in this series with the 6 hits in 11 at bats. And he will take the pitch. That's down low. And the count goes to 2-0. So Hendrickson in a jam here in the 8th inning as the Red Sox look to close the barn door on this. They've got the 3-0 lead and looking to extend it. Here's the 2-0 delivery. Infield creeps in a little more, and that will be a strike. See Reddick on the season, 7 games, 11 for 23. Wow. 2 home runs, 6 RBIs. Hendrickson, left-handers 231 off him, right-handers 429. 2-1 delivery, and he'll miss down low, trying to spot that ball and not getting it there, and he goes to 3-1.
Yeah, even last year, both righties and lefties over 300 against him, so not your prototypical you bring him in and he's going to match up against lefties. What you get is a guy that usually throws strikes, but he cannot afford to get behind like he did to Youkilis or even here.
Runners off second and third, 3-1 delivery. Reddick takes it and they're loaded. First walk the Red Sox have picked up in the game with ARRIETA not surrendering one. So the base is loaded and Carl Crawford will stand in. Crawford has a double, a single, and has struck out. Strikeout that ended up being a double play as he interfered with Tatum trying to make a throw on Reddick, who was running, and Reddick ended up being out on the catcher's interference. So the Red Sox load him up. Carl Crawford.
Yeah,
they were the big chance.
Yeah, they were teammates. 12 for 28 with a home run. But how about that bases loaded lifetime number, 396 with 3 grand slams for Carl Crawford? That's an amazing number. So the history not good for Mark Hendrickson against Carl.
Crawford will take the pitch, and it will be at the lower part of the strike zone, and he gets the call on it. So the game really on the line on this at bat by Crawford. He's hit only 149 off lefties this year, 13 for 87. 2 of the 13 hits home runs. The 0-1 delivery, and that's going to be outside 1-1. Series to be decided by the winner of this game. And right now the Red Sox up 3-0 and looking to add to it. Here's the 1-1 delivery. Crawford fouls it off. Hendrickson gets ahead of him. A 1-ball, 2-strike count.
Well, you need a strikeout, that or a pop-up. But you're always prepared for that comebacker. You've already talked to your catcher. If the ball is to you down by 3 runs, you're coming home. Very difficult, of course, to double up Carl Crawford because of his speed.
Infield will come home with Gonzalez running from third base. 1-2 delivery. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Hendrickson works on getting hitters to swing at those non-strikes, and this is a team that just doesn't do that.
Yeah, and then if you don't get ahead, which has been the case, then they're not doing their spin.
2-2, and it's 3-2. No place to put it.
Yeah, the kind of stuff he has at this point in his career is that he doesn't match up if he throws strikes. So your point so well taken. What is pitching? Throw enough strikes to get him to swing at balls. This team doesn't do it.
Gonzalez at third, YOUKILIS at second, Reddick on at first base. 3-2, nobody out. And Crawford will walk, and there's another run. So 2 walks in a row in the inning. And that will make it a 4-0 lead. RBI for Crawford. Gonzalez scores. And that will be it for Hendrickson as he'll come out of the ball game. Worrell will come out of the bullpen to face Scutaro. Bases loaded, still nobody out, and a 4-0 Boston lead. Desperate defensive play and pitching needed here as the Orioles have fallen behind, and Worrell comes in with the sacks full.
Yeah, they're pretty much the same situation. He came in against the Red Sox on Monday night, and PEDROIA would hit a down and away fastball. He got behind him 3-1. He hit the 6th pitch he threw. It was actually an incredibly good pitch, but he covered the outside corner, hit it down into the corner for a double. Well, again, another opportunity, same situation, except you got Marco Scutaro coming to the plate.
Red Sox have had more bases loaded walks than anybody else in the league except of all teams, Seattle. Seattle's had 13 bases loaded walks. The Red Sox have had 9. They get the walk in this game from Crawford, who picks up the RBI. Hendrickson out of there, no part of an inning, 2 hits, 2 walks, responsible for the 3 base runners who are on. And Marco Scutaro will face Worrell, who left everybody after he pitched the other night, going, how can he throw like that?
Well, and I get what you're alluding to is that he just kind of opens up that left shoulder, goes straight towards the Oriole dugout, and then throws back to home plate. But for him, that's how he gets movement. Yep. And again, PEDROIA, it's not like he made a horrible pitch. It's just it was terrific at bat.
Infield stays in with nobody out. Scutaro has an 0 for 3 in the ball game. 3 for 10 in the series. They'll make the play at the plate on a ground ball in the infield if they can, with the runner now YOUKILIS, the lead runner at third. Reddick and Crawford, good speed behind him.
Well, we often talk about how difficult it is to come in. Everybody thinks, oh, you know, the closer has the toughest job. This is the toughest job. No place to put anybody. You're already down 4-0. You got a good fastball hitter at the plate, and you throw him a good breaking ball, and he chases it. He wasn't even in a position to throw a breaking ball the other night after he fell behind PEDROIA. So again, there he's going. He's going to stay closed enough to be able to get on top of that slurve or slider, whatever you want to call it.
Here's the 0-2 delivery, and he got him off speed. Throttle back on it. Worrell picks up a big strike. Scutaro walks away, disgusted with himself.
Well, what's the break on this one? Kind of like golf. It's not how, it's how many.
Jason VARITEKC VARITEKC, an RBI and a ground ball out. He's 0 for 3, robbed of a hit in his last at bat by Nick MARKAKIS, who made a great catch in right field. The infield will back up now with one away. They can go for the normal double play. If VARITEKC puts one on the ground, swing and a miss on it, and a strike to VARITEKC.
Now there's a good sinking fastball. You know, VARITEKC at age 39, playing now, what, 14th year? He's one of those guys, he looks in his zone and tries to put a good swing on it. As you mentioned, there's another breaking ball. So this is a guy, all his home runs come from this side of the plate.
Worrell, 28 years old, made the AAA All-Star team, 12 saves with the Tides as a closer. 0-2 delivery. VARITEKC's gone as he came inside on him.
Wow. Day games. Maybe he likes day games. Look at this breaking ball. I mean, it's a little bit inside from where Craig Tatum's set up, but very, very effective.
Though trying to get out of the inning after the bases were loaded with nobody out. The walk to Crawford by Hendrickson brought in a run. Now there are 2 down. Bases remain loaded. And here's Navarro. He's 0 for 3 in the game. Navarro will take it outside for a ball. The third baseman hitting at just 182, but has had very few chances to play. Only the 9th game since being called up.
And they probably have a little history in the minor leagues.
Pawtucket and the Tides.
And you could see, again, the way they've gotten Navarro out this afternoon is the breaking ball. So he attempts it. Now all of a sudden you got a young hitter. He's going to look fastball, and that's pretty much what you're going to have to throw.
Worrell with a 2-0 on Navarro. YOUKILIS, Reddick, and Crawford the runners. 2-0 delivery. Navarro fouls it back. If the catcher just held on to the ball long enough, he wouldn't have to throw it back because Worrell would keep walking and come in and just take it out of his hand. He spends more time walking than any other pitcher in baseball because he's halfway in by the time the ball gets thrown back to him.
You don't have to teach him to get over his front side. You got to put a leash on him and pull him backwards.
2-1 strikeout. And Navarro again fights it off, and it will stay at 2-2. Comes in to get it, turns around and journeys back to the ball.
Well, you know, we were talking about it on Monday night when he came in. I had met him for the first time because he just got called up. I said, "Do you ever start a game?" He goes, "Never." I said, "Ever?" He goes, "No." Now you see why. He wore out the grass.
Oh, he wore himself out when he started. Imagine how many miles he'd walk back and forth as a starter. 2-2 strikeout on Navarro. Worrell. And miss outside with it, so it goes forward. He played for the Cardinals 4 games in 2008, the only other major league experience Worrell has prior to being called up by the Orioles. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 down, bases loaded, a 4-0 lead. Red Sox in the top of the 8th inning. And the 3-2 delivery. Runners go. Ball is hit in the air to center. Going back onto Jones. He's got it lined up. And Worrell comes on and gets it done. So only 1 run in on a couple of hits. The Red Sox leave the bases loaded. It is 4-0. Cross Blue Shield will contribute $50 to the Living Classroom Foundation. To date, 282 walks, $14,100. Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield encourages each of us to take that first step towards a healthier and more active lifestyle. Matt Albers worked an inning and the third in relief, struck out 2, gave up nothing. Now the flamethrower, Daniel Bard, will come out of the bullpen to pitch.
Yeah, the record isn't not indicative of the way he can throw the ball. And again, he's going to just turn 26 years old. As we told you about, he found one of those streaks that's 21 2/3 scoreless innings over 20 games. And in that, only 13 base runners, 8 hits, 5 walks, and 22 strikeouts. So he is a power pitcher. He's got a 2-seamer. He throws close to 100 miles per hour when he throws the 4-seamer. He's got a big swooping curveball.
He will pitch against the Orioles for the 4th time. The Orioles, in 3 1/3 innings that he's worked against them, have picked up 4 hits. He has struck out 4. Has not allowed an earned run in those 3 1/3 against the O's. Does have an 0-1 record, though, this year against the Orioles. And Nick Markakis up against it. And Markakis will take it. Nick with an 0 for 3 in the game. The Orioles only have 2 hits. Tatum picked up a single. That was in the 5th inning. Andrew Miller, the starter, gave up another to Derrek Lee in the 6th, and that's it. Orioles have been out hit 11-2 and outscored 4-0. Markakis will go to short. SCUTARO. And there are limited outs to work with for the O's. Our Suzuki Game Flow Autos all-wheel drive lineup. Suzuki, the power of engineering. ELLSBURY, 2 home runs in the game. Solo shots, and Crawford, a bases loaded walk, RBI, and VARITEKC ground ball RBI are the 4 runs, and all the Red Sox have needed so far, with the Orioles being shut out.
Now, the other thing that Daniel Bard, he's doing exactly what they want him to do, which is when you come in, get the game to the closer. He's got 22 holes. Only Tyler Clippard, who made the All-Star team for the Nationals in the National League, has more.
Jones 2 for 5 off Bard with a home run. Will take the pitch away for a ball. Adam has had 2 walks in the game, officially 0 for 1. Jones with a 5-game hit streak, perhaps on the line in this at bat against the right-hander. Bard with a 1-0 pitch, and that'll miss outside. Masson giving away 30 prizes 30 days, including signed jerseys and other Orioles gear. Just go to facebook.com/Masson Orioles to win.
Well, you often talk about situations where you're down 4 runs. Guy coming in, you would think that he would be taking a pitch here. He did look down at Willie Randolph. Nope.
Need base runners.
Yeah, well, you do. There's Willie down at third base. He's kind of gotten into the swing of it, hasn't he? Remembering the batting helmet.
He had a couple of days there where he went out and forgot the helmet.
John Russell started the year, and then knee problems brought him to the bench. And Willie be out there and
with his soft cap on.
I remember he did it in Oakland. And
the umpire came over and very nicely.
There's John.
Got a good helmet. Here's the 2-1 delivery. Popped him up right field. Reddick battling. Has it. 2 down.
No such thing as a routine pop-up or fly ball today because of the sun.
Keep in mind the Red Sox pitchers are pitching the shutout 2-hitter against the Orioles, who had scored 30 runs in the last 4 games, their best 4-game output of the year. But left-hander Andrew Miller shut him down. 2 hits, Albers inning in the 3rd. Now Bard. The Orioles' best chance to score, 2nd inning, bases loaded, 1 away. Double play ended the inning. WIETERS 0 for 3. Day off tomorrow. Angels in on Friday night. Alfredo Simon will make the start for the Orioles. He's 2-2. Ervin Santana 4-8. But with a 3.84 ERA will go for the Angels. Here's the 0-1 delivery, and WIETERS will take it for a strike. Wieters 0 for 4 off the Red Sox reliever. Oh-2 delivery with 2 away. He throws a lot of strikes. Pedroia. And a 1-2-3 inning for Bard. 8 complete here at Camden Yards. This is the rubber match of the 3-game set, and the Red Sox lead it. Orioles baseball on Masson is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Southwest Airlines' new Rapid Rewards, unlimited reward seats, and no blackout dates. And by Land Rover. Gary Thorne, Jim Palmer here at Camden Yards. The umpires trying to drench themselves in a little water here to cool it off on this 91-degree day with the humidity up at 60% or a little better. The Orioles, 3 outs to work with, trying to hold the Red Sox where they are, and Birkin on the pitch.
Yeah, it came in on Monday night, and the only batter he faced with a 7-6 lead the Orioles was Kevin YOUKILIS, and he hit the second pitch, a slider into left field on the ground. They tied it up. They would go on to win 15-10.
And he's got to face ELLSBURY, who's really touched him up. Jacoby ELLSBURY 7 for 9 with a home run off him.
Yeah, he had a couple of home runs in a game back in 2008. I don't see anything in their notes that indicates that he's hit 2 this year. So
it's only his second multi-homer game. Orioles, the Red Sox rather have had 2 homer ball games this year by Mike Cameron, Adrian Gonzalez, and Jason VARITEKC, and now ELLSBURY. The only 3 home run game was Dustin Pedroia against Colorado on June 24.
In Colorado?
In Colorado. And the pitch will be taken. ELLSBURY 2 home runs, numbers 14 and 15. 3 against the Orioles this year. 5 career home runs in this ballpark. Now has a 29-game hit streak against the Orioles. Nick MARKAKIS had his hit streak against the Red Sox. Ended in the ball game last night when he had an 0 for 3. And that's going to go into the seats. So a 2-ball, 1-strike count on ELLSBURY. ELLSBURY now hitting at .316, 54 runs batted in. These blows coming off ARRIETA. And just missing with that one.
Well, he has a very simple swing, and I remember when he came up, Dave Madigan was talking about he never could sync up the hands, and now all of a sudden his hands go back a little bit, foot gets down, and all of a sudden the ball just slows down. And today the thing that if you're a Red Sox fan, you love is the fact that he hit not only a breaking ball but a fastball. And then the other night in Tampa Bay, took David Price at 97 miles per hour. I mean, way back. So he's hitting everybody.
Leadoff walk given up by Birkin. Dustin Pedroia. Pedroia 6 for 14 off Birkin.
And when you can steal bases, it didn't happen this time, but you force the other team to throw you strikes. Otherwise, singles become doubles. And
Big
then,
lead taken over there.
And then you got Pedroia, who can hit any pitch you throw. But if he gets fastballs that hit, that again, he's going to even be a better hitter.
18-game hit streak was extended in this ball game with a single he got in the 5th inning. 1 for 4. Career high hit streak. Runner goes, big jump. Ellsbury looking in, hit and run on, foul back. He'll go back to first base. Pedroia's 6 home runs in the month of July are the most that he's had in any month in his career. He did it twice before in 08 and again in 2010 with 6 homers in 1 month. So he's got a pretty good chance with 10 more ball games left to be played by the Sox in the month to have a career high month in homers.
And he sprays the ball all over the field.
Right back to the mound. Birkin. There's 1. And Dino. There's 2.
And that's the way you turn a double play. Jason Birkin, high school, a very gifted quarterback. Kind of like a drop back. You catch the ball, you make sure your hands are together, you know who's already covering, and there's your perfect throw.
And congratulations, Charlotte Madison from Baltimore. That's another $1,000. A second double play turned by the Orioles from our Maryland Lottery double play contest. And Gonzalez strokes it. Perfectly strokes it. Markakis off the wall has got a chance to get it. Here's the throw. Nick's dead on. Markakis will get him at second base. That'll be the 8th assist by Markakis in the outfield. Gonzalez will get a single, his 4th hit of the day. Retired trying to stretch it. Now the Orioles will try for the big bottom of the 9th. Lee, Reynolds, and REIMOLD coming. Red Sox up 4-0.
MC, stay with us. We're coming right back with those extra postgame. Bottom of the 9th coming up, and a long, frustrating day for the Orioles. All kinds of chances against Andrew Miller. Couldn't get the big base hit.
Well, Jacoby Ellsbury hits 2 home runs. He seems to be hitting everybody hard, but the Orioles today just have not been sharp. Only 2 hits against Andrew Miller. They should have a lot more, but they got the 9th inning, Jim.
Bottom of the 9th coming up. The closer's in. Not a save. Let's see. The Orioles might do it. Back to Gary.
All right, Jemrick, thanks very much. 4-12-0 and 0-2-0 for the Orioles. Just 2 singles in the ball game. And if they're going to do it, they'll have to do it against Papelbon.
Yeah, his last appearance was on Sunday night. He came in and pitched the 16th inning, got his 21st save. 31 out of 32 lifetime saves against the Orioles. So, again, you can look at the numbers. Again, this is his last year of his contract. You usually have to earn your way on. More strikeouts than innings pitched, throwing more sliders. He's got a splitter. He's got the fastball. So maybe the velocity down a little bit this year. We'll see. Usually in 93 to 95. So again, you're going to have to earn your way on because he doesn't give you too many free passes.
While Papelbon warms up, we'll take a look at a voting for the AT&T Player of the Game. You still have time to cast your vote. A, B, or C to 51862. Results coming up on the O's Extra Postgame Show. So the Red Sox looking to take the series and have a 4-2 road trip. Orioles winners of 3 out of their last 4. Try and make a comeback here in the 9th. Papelbon this year, 4th game against the O's. He's had 1 save and 1 attempt. He's worked 3 innings, given up 1 walk and struck out 4. Papelbon's record is 2-1 lifetime with 31 saves and 32 chances. The Orioles over the Papelbon career have hit only .219 off him in 41 innings of work. And Derek Lee will lead it off and take it away for a ball.
Yeah, a lot of tough graders up in Boston. 35, 37, 41, 38, 37. That's the saves he's been able to do for him. And, last year the ERA went up similar to what it is this year. And he is in the last year of a contract. Otherwise, he will be a free agent.
Lee puts it up in the air high to right center field. Nobody sees it. Oh, ELLSBURY comes over and gets it because Reddick needed help.
But he
didn't know where it was.
He communicated that. Otherwise, the ball falls. And apparently, even though there's 30,000 plus here today, he let him know. Otherwise, and he didn't give up on it.
Good coverage. Follow the Orioles, MLB.com at Bat 2011 app for iPhone, iPad, Android, or BlackBerry. And you can check in on the Orioles home games as well. Text at Bat 31826 and go to Orioles.com for details. 1 down, 9th inning. Here's Reynolds, 2 walks, and he has struck out. Reynolds faced Papelbon only once, 0 for 1 off him. Pitcher of record is Andrew Miller, the left-hander. He could be 4-1 with the victory. And Jake Arrieta, 9-7, the Orioles starter, who gave up just 3 runs on 9 hits over 7. And the 0-1 delivery. That'll be foul back.
Well, when you have starting pitchers and #1 starters like Lester and Buchholz on the disabled list, you want your young pitchers to step up. Weiland pitched a very good game last night. Just got outpitched by Guthrie, and then Miller. And again, it's kind of 1 inning in a sense where he got out of the bases loaded jam. Got an out, walked the bases loaded, got the double play ball, and all of a sudden was a different pitcher.
Reynolds with a 2-strike count. And Papelbon will take it inside. Red Sox also will have the day off tomorrow, as do the Orioles, and they open up a 7-game homestand, 3 against Seattle and 4 against Kansas City. The Orioles have the day off, and then the Angels will be coming in to finish up the homestand. And the Orioles will be heading out to Toronto and New York and Kansas City. Road trip. 1 ball, 2-strike count. And Reynolds is gone.
Yeah, the one thing that you've seen Jonathan Papelbon, the curveball, sliders right here, he's just going to go to the high heat. And again, the velocity down from where it was years before, but it's almost like he's taking a little bit out of Mariano Rivera's book, who turns the ball over a little bit every once in a while. So again, they thought probably 3-4 years ago he may become a starting pitcher. That's what he was in college. But again, at the end of the day, he throws a lot of strikes.
Nolan REIMOLD with 2 down and nobody on. Orioles on the verge of being shut out on a 2-hitter combined by Miller, Albers, Bard, and Papelbon. The only hits coming off Miller, 2 singles. And for the Orioles, trying to avoid what will be the 5th time they've been shut out. The Red Sox looking for their 10th shutout as a team. 1 strikeout on REIMOLD. Arrieta today was his 4th chance going after that win number 10. Not going to get it.
Well, it doesn't appear that way, but the good news for Jake is that he's back on track as far as pitching goes. He just got out-pitched. Orioles got out-hit. At least to this point in the game. We do have 1 more strike.
0-2, 2 down. Reynold on a check swing will foul it back. PA's come out in the on deck circle if the Orioles could get there, and Dino scheduled up. There's Felix PA waiting. REIMOLD trying to fight off Papelbon. He's 0 for 4 against him. Here's the 0-2 delivery again, and Reynolds will take it. VARITEKC thought he went, and the answer is no for Mike Everett at first base. Nine in a row have been retired by the Red Sox bullpen. Last Oriole base runner, the walk by Reynolds in the 6th inning. And nothing since. 1 ball, 2 strike count on Reynolds. One-two pitch, Reynolds gone, and nope, foul tip. Hang in. VARITEKC had it in the glove, couldn't hang on, so Reynolds keeps it alive, and the 2-strike count as Papelbon keeps throwing strikes.
Yeah, another slider, just trying to get Nolan to chase, and able to foul it off. You could see way out on that front foot. Yeah, he got in a rut a couple of years ago, just almost about 87% of his pitches were fastballs. Not the case anymore.
Again, a 1-2 delivery. Reynolds puts it in the air to left. Cal Crawford is under it. And the Red Sox will take the game and the series as the Orioles are shut out on a combined 2-hitter. And the Red Sox win it by a score of 4-0. It'll be a day off tomorrow and then back in action on Friday. Game 1 of the 3-game set against the Angels. Alfredo Simon takes them out against Irvin Santana. Our coverage 6:30 on Masson HD with those extra. Presented by Verizon 4G LTE. Game on Friday at 7. For Jim Palmer and our great crew here at Camden Yards, I'm Gary Thorne. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Red Sox 4, the Orioles nothing, taking 2 out of 3. This has been a Masson presentation. Jim and Rick, look back. Goes Extra is next. Adieu, adieu.